Since 1886, the Texas State Fair has welcomed visitors to Dallas, and in 1925 they started playing football at the fair. Today, that tradition continues with defending SWAC champions Prairie View taking on the most storied program in HBCU, the Tigers of Grambling State. It's the State Fair Classic, and it's next on ESPNU. You are watching ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's. Today, it's Prairie View A&M taking on Grambling State in the State Fair Classic. And welcome to Dallas, Texas, inside the Cotton Bowl alongside Jay Walker. I'm Todd Harris. Well, 5 years ago, most people concerned with Prairie View and A&M were coming to the game for the band. Flash forward 5 years, their football team is back.
Oh, they're definitely back, and since the emergence of Prairie View football and head coach Henry Frazier, this game has taken on increased intensity on the field as well as the magnitude in the SWAC standings. Consider this, the winner of this game has gone on to win the SWAC championship the past 2 years. And 3 years in a row, the winner of this game has represented the SWAC Western Division in the SWAC championship game.
And a great place to start for Prairie View A&M is their very talented quarterback, KJ Black.
When you talk about KJ Black, to make it simple, he's the real deal. He's got all the leadership qualities you look for in a field general. This year he's coming to this game, he's only about 80% healthy. He's battling a knee injury, but 80% of KJ Black is better than a whole lot of other quarterbacks in the country.
Let's talk about Grambling State. Frank Warren is their running back. He carries the load, and he can be an absolute bruiser.
I mean, we know Frank Warren can get it done. If you have any doubts about that, just look at last week's statistics. Over 250 yards rushing, along with 2 touchdowns. He, along with Cornelius Walker, formed one of the best 1-2 punches in all of college football.
And before we kick, let's get to Professor Jay's lesson plan.
Well, I think if you're Prairie View A&M, you got to get Babers and Black back to their 2009 form when they were just simply dominating. Defensively, they've got to confuse the baby freshman quarterback that started for Grambling. He's a good one, but he's just a baby. For Grambling, they must win the battle of the time of possession, control the clock, keep Prairie View's offense on the sideline. And defensively, they've got to pressure the quarterback and move the pocket. Force KJ Black to test that knee, make him scramble, don't let him get comfortable in the pocket, and that's what they need for their lesson plan. We'll see how they do in their midterm report.
Head coach Henry Frazier in his 8th year, defending SWAC champions, 37-28, but the last 3 years is when he's really done the damage. So Prairie View wins the toss, they defer, so they will be kicking off. His counterpart across the way, head coach Rod Broadway in his 4th year with a record of 27-11 as the Tigers head man. So we're set to go with the State Fair Classic, as mentioned. Prairie View winning the toss, they have deferred, so Grambling will get the ball first. Back for the Tigers, David Stuckman and Kenneth Batiste, number 2 and number 5, respectively. Pedro Ventura will get things underway, and we are here off and playing at the State Fair Classic. Batiste from the 2. Finds a small seam, gets it up to about the 24-yard line with a 22-yard return taken down by number 41, Brian Medlock. And then you talk about the baby quarterback, just a true freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina, number 7, Anthony Carruthers.
Yeah, Carruthers is a guy that's very special. He can throw the football. When you talk to Coach Broadway about him, he's got a little twinkle in his eye. He's going to be a good one. Very slight, though. I mean, down there on the field before the game, he probably goes about 5'8", and I'm giving him a half an inch. But he's very mobile in the pocket. He can make things happen. So, although he's a freshman, he can hurt you when he's playing his A game, especially with his mobility in the pocket.
He comes from a powerhouse high school in Charlotte, Charlotte Independence, and Grambling on 1st and 10 from the 24. They come out firing with the baby quarterback. And this ball goes all the way out with a 3-yard pickup out to about the 28-yard line. O'Shea Hamilton, the fullback, on the reception as we take a look at the starting lineup for Grambling State. There's Frank Warren, number 23. We'll see plenty of him, the senior. O'Shea Hamilton, who just made that reception. Wide receivers are good, and Tommy White and Kiari Thompson. And look for Mario Lewis, the junior from New Orleans, also to get involved. The big men up front, Jackson, Lampton, Wyndon Phillips, and Peoples. 2nd down and 7. Well, that could have been an absolute disaster, Jay, and the young freshman showed the speed he has with a loss of 2, but it could have been much worse. Number 3, Chris Adangupu makes the tackle. Up front for Prairie View, it's Spears, Nettles, Chappell, and Wilson, the junior from Fort Worth, Texas. Linebackers are good as well. Cardwell, Century, and Marcus White. And in the secondary, Ellis, Grant Johnson, and Lester Butler, the junior from Baton Rouge. That brings up a 3rd and 10 for Grambling on the opening possession of the game.
Stop playing when the teams come to the line of scrimmage.
Wow, our first warning.
That's something you get, a little HBCU flavor right away. First quarter, you got to tell the band, settle down.
Just to give you folks a preview, if you haven't seen these bands perform, you definitely want to stick around for the halftime show. They are something else. So we'll do 3rd and 10 again. First infraction on the day comes by way of the Prairie View band. Grambling 7 for 23 on 3rd down conversions. That's only about 30%. Carruthers back to pass. Oh, and almost a beautiful grab. He was looking for number 15, the senior Gary Thompson from Sacramento, California, just could not reel it in.
They're trying to throw the stick 8 in there. That's something when you're a smaller quarterback, you've got to find a window, and if that window's not open, you have to put more trajectory on the ball. Unfortunately, you leave a ball hanging in the air that long, free safety gets over there and puts a good whack on Thompson. So even if he'd been able to hold on to it, ball might have got dislodged by Adrian Grant coming over there covering ground.
Fabian Carter back to punt. Number 4, Spencer Nelson back to receive. We've got a timeout on the field. Prairie View A&M. Little classic history. As we said, the State Fair Classic here in the Cotton Bowl. First game, the Wiley Wildcats and the Langston Lions played to a 0-0 tie. And I'm pretty sure back then they didn't have the corn dogs they have now. Prairie View and A&M replaced Langston at 29, and Grambling State has won 23 of the last 24 versus Prairie View A&M. Last year, the Panthers defeated the Tigers in a good one, 35-32. Remember, this classic began in 1925, and head coach of Prairie View, Henry Frazier, has done a magnificent job, Jay, in the last 3 years especially. This is his 8th year at the school, but the last 3 years he has been dynamite.
Now, you saw that graphic talk about all the dominance that Grambling's had. You know what that says to me? What have you done for me lately? And lately, Prairie View A&M, last time I checked, they're the defending SWAC champions. So, I think they had to learn how to defeat the G. We talk about the history of the Grambling program, and sometimes you can be in close games, but losing teams tend to think that we're going to find a way to lose this game. Well, that was the case for many years. Last year, the Panthers finally overcame the hurdle and went on to win the SWAC title.
So Fabian Carter back to punt for Grambling as they go 3 and out.
Oh,
this one's going to be blocked. Number 45, Gabriel Fleming, gets in there. And I'll tell you, they sent 3 men, and I think, Jay, almost all 3 men got a piece of that ball.
I mean, if that was supposed to be some type of wedge block formation, the Grambling punt team was very soft.
The wedge was there, the blocking part wasn't?
The blocking was not there at all. They just thought just because they were standing there, they weren't going to get bull rush. Look at that, 3-on-3. They do a little twist move on the inside by Fleming. That's good scouting there. Look at the 3 guys, and 2 guys attack, 1 gap.
Well, I have a feeling those fellows are not going to want to watch that tape, those that were supposed to form the wedge. KJ Black out in the shotgun formation. Andrew McGlory, the lone setback for the Panthers. Ball underthrown. KJ Black will come out firing, looking for number 88, Derek Miles on that. Here are the numbers for KJ Black last year: 16 of 18 for 161 yards, 2 TDs, but 10 rushes for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns there, Jake. He's the kind of guy, he can beat you with the arm. He can also beat you with the legs.
He can, but not today. Coach Frazier basically told KJ Black, you are not allowed to run in this football game. You have to pick them apart from the pocket. You're too valuable to our team for the season. With a knee that's halfway healthy, he's not going to chance it.
Donald Babers, number 13, gets the call. The senior from Houston picks up about 2 as we look at the starting lineup for the Prairie View A&M Panthers. Good, solid team. Babers, Stevens, Benson, Bell, and Law, the skill people. Donald Law the third, and Tussey, Deckley, Wilson, Patterson, and James Blanton anchoring that offensive line. Ball resting about the 16-yard line. 3rd down and 7 for the Panthers after the block punt. Black back to pass. He'll take off and run. Nowhere near the first down. Tackled at about the 11, call it the 12-yard line, a 5-yard pickup. Number 50, Cliff Exuma, the junior from North Miami Beach, making the stop. For Grambling State up front, it's Robinson Savage, Antoine Rogers, and Antonio Leonard. The defensive, the linebackers, Cliff Exuma just made that play. Derek Johnson and Gabriel Fleming. And for the secondary, it's Leonard Powell, Will Height, and number 25, David Stuckman. So number 17, Brady Faggard, the senior from Humble, Texas, on to try a 29-yarder. And it's the Panthers on the board first by way of special teams play. So the State Fair Classic off and running in the Cotton Bowl. It's Prairie View A&M 3, Grambling State nothing.
Start your engine.
This telecast is presented in high definition on ESPNU HD by Comcast.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And in part by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. The largest state fair in the USA. Welcome to Dallas, Texas, as the Texas State Fair got underway officially yesterday alongside Jay Walker. I'm Todd Harris. What a great atmosphere. The game, the bands, the players. We'll get into the food, believe you me, because some of the best food you can ever, I'll say heart healthy, but some of the best food you'll find is at the Texas State Fair. Prairie View A&M on top, 3-0. Kenneth Batiste from the 10. Batiste heading east and west. He's got himself a seam. Out to midfield, and it's the kicker that brings him down, Pedro Ventura, after a 42-yard pickup for Kenneth Batiste.
Good job by Batiste of getting over to the left-hand wall they've got there. You'll see him get the ball on the far right. He's coming to the left side of your screen, setting up his blockers downfield. See that weave, that little step to the inside, then back outside, help him pick up an extra 10 yards there. That's a good job by Batiste of setting up his blockers downfield and ultimately getting to the wall where the protection was.
Got to give some props to Bakari Maxwell, number 9, with a beautiful block that sprung him. 42-yard pickup, and Grambling State finds himself in Prairie View A&M territory on 1st and 10. Carruthers fakes to Warren. He's got it off the left-hand side. The young freshman is a speedster, and he takes it all the way down to the 24-yard line. Anthony Carruthers, the true freshman. Number 8, Lester Butler, and number 11, Raheem Caldwell team up to make the stop, but not before a 24-yard pickup.
Yeah, I mean, just a zone read there to the outside there. Number count, the defensive end caved down there. Once he does that with the mobile quarterback, gonna make you pay. And you see the one thing we talked about with Carruthers, he can really hurt you with his legs.
He's listed at 5'10", 180, and I agree with you, Jay. That's being awfully generous, but the young man can absolutely fly. Frank Warren now in the backfield with the young quarterback Carruthers on 1st and 10. Warren off the left-hand side. Flags come out. He's pushed out of bounds by Lester Butler at about the 13-yard line, but this may be coming back. It's a 12-yard pickup. We'll see if it stands.
And the same thing is starting to happen over and over again with Prairie View in terms of the defensive end, Jarvis Wilson, caving down too much, and he's being caught.
On the offense, number 71, 10 yards, on the spot of the foul, first down.
Yeah, I mean, just, let's take a look at this replay here, and you'll see right there on the left side, number 48, this is your defensive end. Once he takes that hard angle to the inside, then they're going outside of him every time, and even on the following play, they back that up with the same thing. So you've got aggressive defensive end, nobody in the outside divider, or what we like to say responsible for outside contain. They got to fix that quickly or else it'll be a long day for this Panther defense.
So after the infraction, the ball is backed up to about the 27-yard line. Little direct snap this time right up the middle. Number 24 for Grambling State picks up 4 yards. Rodell Pippin on the carry, and that's a direct snap, something we haven't seen for a while, so they'll bring back in the standard quarterback, number 7, Anthony Carruthers. Remember, he's a true freshman, listed at 5'10", 180, but he comes from a very powerful, I should say, high school program in the Charlotte area.
Yeah, I mean, famous alum like C.J. Lee. But also, the head coach in Independence of Charlotte came from West Charlotte High. West Charlotte High had some great players come through there year after year as well.
Second down and 10. Frank Warren gets the call. Nice stiff arm off the left-hand side, still on his feet. Runs over his own man, Kerry Thompson. And Breon Johnson makes a stop, but it's Warren picking up 8 yards.
The good thing about a good running back is they don't let the first guy bring him down. So you see the initial contact, hey, you're not going to bring me down one-on-one, pick up more yards after contact. That's how you know if you got a good running back. And Frank Warren is a good running back.
Well, he's second in the FCS in rushing. Look at that average, 168.5 yards rushing a game. And as you mentioned at the top of the show, he came off a monster week last week. This time Crothers will go under center on 1st and 10. I formation, they give it to Warren. Tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Breon Johnson making the stop, but Warren's probably going to get 2 yards on the pickup and then push back. Well, Grambling State, located in Grambling, Louisiana. The Tigers, founded in 1901. Enrollment not that big, just under 5,000. Famous alumni, of course. Super Bowl MVP Doug Williams was here doing the coin toss honors.
Now, you guys are yourself in trouble with that one. I'm not standing by that graph. You don't just list Doug Williams as your alum. You got James Harris, Tank Younger. You've got Charlie Joyner, Willie Brown.
We go on and on. 2nd and 8. Crothers looking for a seam. It opens up right in the middle. Look at this young man run. It'll be touchdown, Grambling. Anthony Crothers, the true freshman, for 11 yards and 6 points.
You know, if you're small in stature, then use that to your advantage. He's hard to see back there in the pocket, makes a quick decision, decides to take off early, gets a touchdown for the Tigers.
And Zoltan Riazzo, the junior from California, puts it through. So Grambling answers back. They're up 7-3 in the State Fair Classic from the Cotton Bowl. You are watching ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's. And that young man, Anthony Crothers, the freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina, has got the Tigers on the board. How about this run, Jay?
Yeah, he owes it all to his fullback, O'Shea Hamilton, number 48, right there on the left side of your screen. Watch him pick up the middle linebacker on the blitz. That's Max Century, middle linebacker for Prairie. If you come with a blitz up the A-gap, hey, he had the patience to wait out Hamilton's block. So give the touchdown to Crothers to give the assist to O'Shea Hamilton, the fullback.
So the true freshman has the Tigers out in front 7-3. The 3 points picked up by Prairie View after they blocked a punt from Grambling, converted that to a field goal. Spencer Nelson back to receive the kick. From the 12. Nelson will get out to about the 31-yard line, 19-yard pickup. We'll join host Lowell Galindo with David Pollack and Tom Luganville for BCS Countdown for in-depth analysis of Week 4 and a look ahead to Week 5. The BCS Countdown presented by Allstate on ESPNU and ESPNU HD. That's Monday at 6 Eastern. I believe we're already come up on Week 5, Jay.
Hey, did Texas go down today?
Woo. 34-12 to the mighty Bruins of UCLA.
One Lowell Galindo particularly won't be too happy. He's a huge Texas Longhorn fan. Life after Colt, not as easy as they thought it would be.
There you go. KJ Black, the quarterback for Prairie View A&M on 1st and 10. Hands the ball to his back, Donald Babers. Babers with a nice little run. Looked like he's going to be stopped at the line. He'll pick up 8, and Jabari Powell, number 11, comes up to make the stop from his rover position.
And that's the Donald Babers that Panther fans are used to seeing.
Right.
Not the Donald Babers that's coming in averaging less than 2.5 yards per game. Can you believe that? Not a kid with this much talent. Look at him in the hole. No, you're not going to bring me down one-on-one. Having the ability to shake people in little spaces, that's a special running back. When Donald Babers is running well, those are the type of runs he's capable of making play after play.
On 2nd down, KJ Black finds his man out of the backfield. Big number 88, Derek Miles. And it's Derek Johnson that makes the stop. And it's a 12-yard pickup. 1st down for the Panthers.
Big tight end right there, too. You said the big tight end. He's got plenty of body.
Prairie View, Texas. So that's just about 47 miles from Houston. Panthers founded in 1876, and their enrollment just over 8,300. You know, it's the second oldest institution of higher education in the great state of Texas. So a lot of tradition at Prairie View A&M on 1st and 10 from the 50. And Donald Babers, the senior from Houston, Texas, picking up another 6 before Jamarcus Savage tackles him. Savage, number 99. He's a shifty little back.
Yeah, he's got some moves, you know, the ability to make the one cut then hurt you. And we saw in the previous run where he doesn't need a lot of space to make you miss. And that's the sign when you've got a running back that can make the first guy miss and doesn't need much space. Offensive linemen love blocking for guys like that. Change of pace now for the Panthers. They go to the hurry up from the 44-yard line on a 2nd down and 4. Out of the backfield, he finds Babers. I'll tell you what, he got 2 extra yards all on his own before Derek Johnson, number 59, makes a stop. Give him a pickup of just 1, but that screen pass was set up. Took a long time to develop. He's lucky he didn't lose any yards. Yeah, you know, they tried to flood the left side of the field. You know, one thing you'll see as Babers goes out for the swing, they've got 3 wide receivers over on the right side. But watch this move he puts on Cliff Exeter. Look out. Now you see me, now you don't. But had it not been good team defense like Grambling, with the team pursuit coming from the inside, that would have been a big play. And this is not a good sign for Prairie View. This is a terrible sign for Prairie View. Won't speculate on what it is, but you hope it's one of those situations where he's just cramped up a little bit. Not too hot today, and it poured. I mean, poured hard last night and all morning long here, but the field looks to be in terrific condition. Remember the Red River Shootout next week, Texas and Oklahoma getting together. And another reminder, see ESPNU's latest college football show, The Experts, as Bob Greasy, David Pollack, Tom Luganville, The Buck, Charles Arbuckle, and Pat Forty provide unfiltered conversation about the hot topics in college football. The Experts on ESPNU Tuesdays at 1 Eastern. And in case you can't see the live show, you can catch an encore presentation at 7 Eastern. The Experts on ESPNU. You have Jay Walker on that. I've been on there a couple times. They need to have you on there more, my friend. Give me a little action. Exactly right. It's good to see Baber smiling there because his presence is even more important because their regular backup running back, Calvin Guyton, he's out today. He won't be playing. He sprained his ankle last week, so. Big 3rd and 2. And that play is going nowhere. Great job by Grambling State to stuff the run there. Almost like they had that one scattered out. Jermaine Waddy comes in at the running back position, 5'6", unable to find the room and pick up the 1st down. So that'll bring up a 4th down, and Prairie View will punt. And that's a tough one there. You lose your starting running back. You don't have your regular backup running back. You got 3rd and less than 2 yards. You want to go with a bigger body if you can, but when you go to your 3rd string running back and he's only 5'6", doesn't have a lot of weight behind him, 185 pounds, tough for him to get that extra yardage needed. Ventura snags the high punt this time, gets it away on a beautiful kick down to about the 14-yard line where the fair catch is made by Kiari Thompson, the senior from Sacramento, California. 28-yard punt. Grambling State Tigers will take over when we return to the Texas State Fair.
Since 1920, we are the Southwestern.
Back inside the Cotton Bowl, Grambling State on top of Prairie View A&M 7-3 with 5:31 to play here in the 1st quarter. Well, log on to Facebook.com/ESPNU today and become a fan. We want to know which fried food you would most likely eat. And I'm telling you, folks, they have things here fried that you wouldn't even think of frying. On 1st and 10 from the 15, Tigers take over. Brothers back to pass. That ball tipped off the hands. He was looking for his receiver, number 9. And, well, some of the fried food you can get at the fair, I said it, and this is not made up, kids. You can get fried beer, club salad, lemonade, chocolate. I don't know what Texas caviar is, I'm afraid to ask, all the way down to fried yogurt. You got your fried moon pie. I've heard the PB&J is the way to go. Peaches and cream, I would like to try that. And there is fried butter, too, if you're really hankering to jack your cholesterol up. 2nd down and 10. Crothers this time has a man in the flat, but Prairie View does a great job of reading that play. Pickup of 3 yards. Frank Warren had nowhere to go.
Did I see fried peaches and cream?
That sounds tasty to me.
Fried peaches and cream. Now, did have the fried Pop-Tart, and right away.
What'd you think of that?
Oh my goodness! At first,
You've
you're
got
like,
it in
this
your
is
hand
crazy.
right now.
You think it's crazy, but then you take a bite, and right when you take a bite, you're like, oh my goodness! It actually tastes better than you think.
Is that all in a low-cal diet?
Of course.
That's what I thought so.
Of course. You got a little size on you, everything becomes low-cal.
3rd and 7 for Grambling State. They need something sweet right here from their freshman quarterback, number 7, Anthony Carruthers. Carruthers goes into a seam, and that's going to be picked off. Moses Ellis with the interception, and he returns it all the way back to the 20-yard line, a 14-yard return. And Jay, you and I both saw that coming about 3 seconds before it happened.
Yeah, they were playing a cover 2 look there. They had what you call the slouch corner. Good job by the defensive back. Moses Ellis recognizing the coverage. See, and I don't know if Carruthers can see him right there. So he was up close. He dropped back, came and picked it off. So good job of baiting the young quarterback into thinking the guy was open when he had this beat on him the whole time.
And if he doesn't get it, the safety over the top is coming over, and he was licking his chops. So Prairie View A&M gets the ball back, 2nd turnover of the game, and they take over at the 20, 1st and 10. KJ Black in the shotgun. And that's a great sign for Prairie View. Babers back in the game, but this time he has nowhere to go. He's going to lose 5 yards. Number 11, Jabari Powell, makes the stop for the Tigers.
Now this is the time where the Prairie View offense, they've got to get their rhythm going. I mean, this year they haven't scored more than 2 touchdowns in any game all season long. They've had great play on special teams. They blocked the kick, got the ball in great field goal position, couldn't get a first down, had to settle for a field goal. Now they're getting the ball again. Fantastic position to start the drive. If you settle for another field goal, this Grambling defense has to feel great with that, dominating. So let's see if the Panthers can pick up their offensive production and rhythm.
2nd and 15. Black back to pass. He'll take a shot in the open flat area, and that ball was almost picked off. Number 11, Jabari Powell, almost had it. It's a pickup of 9 yards for Prairie View A&M, and the reception was made by number 40, Devin Brown.
Watch this. He's going to drop it. Then all of a sudden, the defensive back is with the interception, and he gets ready to catch the ball. The fullback takes the ball to get out of the air and gains positive yardage on the play.
Well, the injured Panther down on the field, number 99, being looked at by the staff of Prairie View. Updated on who that is. It's a Grambling player, and while we have a break in the action, you're taking a break to load up.
Yeah, this is the fried Pop-Tart.
Wow.
It looks real fat and small, but I mean they get style points and whipped cream on here. And, can I take a bite? Can you
yeah.
help me, partner? After the first bite, you get a smile on your face.
What the folks at home don't know is that Jay's also got a plate of turkey leg, got a little bit of corn dog over there, got a fried Pop-Tart. Not all those things are on the Jenny Craig diet.
Try some turkey. The turkey is good.
But can you really have some turkey leg without the big giant bone?
Yeah, they took my bone. I was going to hit you with it. You're lucky.
It's like something off
my bone, but
something off the Flintstones. Kids, don't try this at home, but that's smoke fried something.
I'll cover you. Go ahead and get a couple bites in there. I'll cover you now. The fried turkey, you see them all over the country, but they put extra season in the turkey down here. I don't know what it is.
That's not terrible.
It's special.
Not terrible.
I wish Prairie View would hurry up and score, do something so I can get back to this fried Pop-Tart.
That brings up a 3rd and 6 as Jay and I continue to expand our waistbands. Ball at the 16. Beautiful pass catch. 10-yard pickup. Spencer Nelson tackled by number 28, Derek Wilhite.
Good offense here. What you're going to see is a clear-out route here. One guy goes up the seam, then you have a little crosser route come underneath it. KJ Black hits him in stride, but that just was a route there required good protection by the offensive line, so you can actually have the guy clear out the seam, and then you allow Spencer Nelson to come in underneath.
KJ Black under center. 1st and goal. Gives it to Babers on the right-hand side. Touchdown, Panthers. Six-yard pickup, touchdown. Donald Babers, great block coming from the right guard, Jomar Cawley. And Professor Jay, you're exactly right. They came away with more than a field goal this time.
Yeah, we called them out. And I think they had a sense of urgency, and they responded well, and that's what a good football team will do.
Kyle Matthews on for the extra point. And the Panthers back out in front, 10-7 with 2:46 to play here in the first quarter of the State Fair Classic. Well, they certainly have been very opportunistic, and Prairie View this time, Jay, not turned away with just a field goal.
Yeah, you know, what do? You want to get a chance, take a look there, and you'll see your guard come around there. They're pulling. Look at the big fella, number 74, Zomar Collins. See a big fella, 6'2", 315 pounds. It's a lot of body to move, but he got around the edge. You've got that much weight and mass as a lead blocker, and you got a little scat back like Donald Babers. Hey, that's how you attack the edge. Touchdown, Prairie View.
Joe Marcali might have been down the midway and picked up a few things on the food court. It's amazing the scene here, folks. If you've never been to Dallas, Texas, in the State Fair, it's something to behold. It is, as we said, the largest state fair in the USA. Elvis performed at 20 years of age here back in 1956, and I bet even back then they had good food.
I bet you they did.
Oh, my goodness. Well, R.J. Walker has sampled just about everything except the peaches and cream, which has piqued both of our interests. But the fried Pop-Tart, this is what it's looked like in the making. We just saw a great drive in the making by Prairie View and AM. That's the final result. And that thing runs about, you know, about the same as, you gotta have the chocolate sprinkles.
You gotta wait for the sprinkles.
Same calories as a glass of water, something like that, don't you think? Diet Coke.
It won't show on me, but you gain a couple ounces, it'll show on you.
From the 9, Grambling back in business. Stuckman. David Stuckman, the junior from Gainesville, Florida, with a nice return of 36 yards. And Grambling again having great field position, tackled by number 3, Chris Adangupu.
You know, when you talk about these two teams, I mean, in talking to both coaches, you know, before the game and yesterday, they both said, hey, we're going to get after them. You know, when I talked to Coach Frazier, he said they've got a young quarterback back there. We're going to get after him. And one thing I will tell you about any team coached by Rob Broadway, on defense, they're going to get after you. I mean, he's an intimidating force there, and he wills his team to play well. And that's why it's going to be such a great football game.
Ball's handed off to number 27. That's Cornelius Walker. He gets into the secondary, picks up, about 12 yards for a first down before number 23, Adrian Grant, the redshirt freshman from Mount Morris, Michigan, comes up and makes the stop. You talk about head coach Rod Broadway. He's got to be concerned about the turnovers right now.
Yeah, he's got to be, but look at that line. Anytime you get offensive line blocking right there with a trap in there, good run in there, so he's got the line going in. I know we talk about the job Frazier's done, and he's done a fantastic job, but, you know, imagine the job Rob Broadway's done, bringing that stability back to the Tiger program. And, you know, he's won a couple championships in his day, too. First and 10, they go back to the running game, number 27, Cornelius Walker. They'll lose 2 on that. Dalvin Nettles, the redshirt freshman from Houston, number 56, comes up and makes the pop. You know, it's so unique in seeing the change and the transformation of the Grambling football program. I mean, when Doug Williams was there, they had great quarterback Bruce Eugene, and they would throw the football all over the place. Then you bring in the Broadwayer. First thing he does is, hey, we're going to get sound on defense. We're going to control the clock. Not going to say eliminate, but control the vertical passing game where they're not as pass happy, dependent as they were before. It took a while for the Grambling folks to get used to it, but after they won a couple championships, they started to appreciate what a good coach they have.
Second down and 12.
This is Baptiste.
And the flag comes out. Kenneth Baptiste, number 5, on the end around, and that was one of those plays it seemed like it took a little too long to develop. Moses Ellis, number 6, comes up, makes the stop, 4-yard pickup, but again,
holding
flag on the play.
On the offense, number 14, 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay, second down.
And referee George McComb giving the infraction, and I'll back the Tigers back up to about the 42-yard line. Just watching the game so far with 1:24 to go here in the first quarter, Jay, it looks like Grambling's got the weapons, they've got the game plan. The execution's where they're having the problem.
Yeah, that seems to be it. You know, they know where to attack, they know what they want to do, but making some mental errors. Holding on the edge on the perimeter, you can't do that. I call that more of a mental error than a physical error. Delay the game, things of that nature.
Second down and 22, delay screen, and beautiful defensive play. Big loss as Frank Warren gets the ball, but Eric Moore, the senior from San Bruno, California, comes up, and a 3-yard loss for the Tigers, so they continue to go the wrong way.
If you're playing man-to-man coverage and the running back catches the ball on the screen, you've got somebody to account for him. So it's high risk, high reward. If a lineman can get a block, then you can kind of get big yardage on it. But in that case there, Eric Moore did a good job of slipping underneath the interior lineman that was coming to block him, making a great tackle for a loss behind the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 25. That was a situation where two guys were on 2 different pages. Carruthers was looking for his fullback, O'Shea Hamilton, and O'Shea didn't think the ball was coming his way.
I think you had miscommunications. Carruthers thought it was a hot read that the blitz was coming, but he had time and protection. He just got rid of the football too soon where he didn't realize the protection. That's something that many freshman quarterbacks make a mistake. You see a lot of guys in the box, clouding the line of scrimmage, and one guy comes and you think he's free when it was picked up.
Sophomore Spencer Nelson back to receive, the sophomore from Jonesboro, Georgia. Low snap, this time they get the punt away. And it takes a Grambling State bounce, goes out, call it around the 15-yard line. Fabian Carter doing a great job of just receiving that snap and getting it away. Punt yardage about 46, and that's where Prairie View A&M will take over, leading 10-7. ESPNU's coverage of college football continues Thursday as David Legree and the Hampton Pirates take on Anthony Glaude and the Delaware State Hornets. College football primetime, presented by McDonald's on ESPNU is ESPNU HD. That's Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern Time.
I'll be in Dover. I think there'll be some remnants. Dover's got like the eye of NASCAR right now. They got the race going on, the chase for the cup. You follow the cars at all?
You know what? I do a bit, but there's so many drivers, and every week it seems like there's a lot of parity because Jimmy Johnson dominated for so long. But this year, it seems like it's anyone's chance to win the cup. KJ Black and Babers in the backfield. And we've got a timeout for the Panthers. They did not like the setup, and head coach Henry Frazier does not like the fact that they're calling it. First timeout for Prairie View A&M, and Coach Frazier's like, what's that about? You had 13 seconds in the first quarter.
Yeah, well, you know, you can't use those, you can't take those timeouts with you at halftime. They don't let you re-up. That'll be a good one. You see the quarterback from Hampton, you recognize that name? David Legree? Louisville. This quarterback, Louisville, transferring
over.
Yep. When you see Coach Broadway, you look at Broadway there, you know, he's a defensive-minded coach. Coach Julius Peppers, when he was in North Carolina, well, Christian Anthony's not playing for Grambling at all this season. Number 90 was the 2-time SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, All-American candidate, Buck Buchanan Award, all those other good accolades. And you see our EA Sports profile of him, what kind of monster he could be.
Absolutely. I mean, we just hope only the best for him. It's being called a heart condition. And when it comes down to that working organ, you do not want to mess around.
No, you don't. That's too bad. You know, and he's a good kid. You know, more importantly, he's a good kid. It's a tough time for the whole Grambling family because, you know, what do you do in that instance there? And I think Coach Broadway has to be more of a father figure than he is a coach.
6-yard pickup. Babers tackled by number 28, Derek Wilhite. And that will bring us to the end of the first quarter here at the State Fair Classic. Prairie View on top, 10-7. And they've got a drive going here. When we come back to Dallas in the Cotton Bowl, the Panthers will continue this drive. We'll be back to ESPNU coverage of college football after this.
This is Dr.
Welcome back to the Cotton Bowl as we get set to start the second quarter. Prairie View A&M on top, 10-7 over Grambling State here at the State Fair Classic. Alongside Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harris. Welcome to Big D. And Prairie View has got a drive going here. They were backed up all the way inside the 10. Now the ball sits at about the 21-yard line on a 2nd and 4. KJ Black finds his release man out on the side. Alonzo Revelta, number 16, with the carry. Pickup of 13 yards and another Prairie View A&M first down.
You know, that was a good job by KJ Black of the misdirection on that one there. It was a screen pass. He sold it so hard that he was going to the right, then had the ability to come back, make the defense move, then go to the left. Take a look here. You'll see KJ Black. Look at his eye. He's looking right all the way. That's a pass to the right, isn't it? Oh, he's going back to the left. A little deception there, giving the offensive lineman time to get downfield, pick up the first down.
Black already 5 of 6 for 46 yards as we are into the second quarter. Babers with 6 rushes for 21 yards. So their offense is clicking, not hitting with the big strikes, which Grambling State keeping them in check.
And that's part of the issue they're having with KJ Black. They lost the game last week to Alabama State. They say on film you can tell the time just wasn't there. The fact that, you know, he had wide receivers drop passes, they weren't there. You can do all the practice you want, but you can't simulate games. And, you know, last week was his first game of the year, so they're hoping they'll start to find their offensive rhythm again with KJ Black's second start of the year.
On 1st and 10, Babers gets the call. He is absolutely drilled at about the line of scrimmage, and a nice defensive performance by the Tigers. Let's go back to the EA Sports animation. And
this is sweet, man.
You like that, don't you?
That's just sweet. Just imagine. I mean, you got Christian Anthony there. I mean, you know, that's a dream right there. Man, look at him intercepting the ball, and he was really that good, but I just wanted to go back and play the video game. I mean, wow, technology today.
Now, come on, be honest, partner. You ever played yourself in the video game? You ever dial up Jay Walker?
I got my feelings hurt. I was so terrible. They had me as a backup when I was with the Patriots, and I had to stop playing.
On 2nd down and 10, Prairie View finding success at the screen. Again, going to number 40 this time for the pickup. Devin Brown, 9 yards for the Panthers. So what's it like? I mean, just being in the NFL is a pretty big deal. But seeing yourself in a video game, what's that like?
It's exciting, but you get humbled. I mean, you know, when a guy's sitting there wide open, it's a 3-yard pass, and your video game version of you grounds the ball. Like the guy was 3 yards away, and you know, but I had a cousin that really learned how to use me well. He could beat you with me in there. He would let take Bledsoe out the game, put me in. I don't know how smart a move that was. And he said I'd light him up for bombs. Couldn't throw anything short. Everything deep, baby.
On 3rd and 1, Panthers go back to Babers, and he's going to get the first down. Donald Babers, 5'10", 190, number 93, Antonio Leonard makes the stop. 2-yard pickup, move the chains.
And that's one there where we saw earlier in this football game, they had 3rd and 1.5, 2 yards. They could not convert the 3rd down conversion when they had the backup running back in there. Babers comes back in there, gets a full head of steam going, knows where the hole is. 1st down Panthers.
I'll tell you what, if I ever had the opportunity to play Madden old school, and I got the option of going Tom Brady or Jay Walker.
There you go.
That's how I'm going to go. Look at this. Little scramble format, little misdirection from the Panthers from the 46, 1st and 10. End result is Babers gets it. End result is Babers going to be tackled for a loss of 1 as the Tiger defense rises up, led by number 59, Derek Johnson, the senior from Monroe, Louisiana, making the stop.
They tried a little muddle huddle in the backfield there. Then
what'd you call that?
A little muddle huddle.
Muddle huddle.
Yeah, a little muddle huddle. Not the full team huddle, you know, just a little muddle huddle. Get 5-6 guys in the backfield, but they overloaded to one side. Then they showed the side they were going to. Then they ran the football to that side. So give the Grambling Tigers defense for not being fooled. I thought they would have used some misdirection coming out of that formation, but they went straight ahead and picked up nothing.
2nd and 11. More misdirection. This time they find their speedy punt returner, number 4, Spencer Nelson. He'll pick up 4 yards. Number 50, Cliff Exuma, the junior from North Miami Beach, Florida, makes the stop for the Tigers.
I think we've got to give some credit to the front 4 for Grambling State. Talking about Antoine Rogers and Jamarcus Savage. I mean, one thing we have not seen Prairie View have success doing is running the ball up the middle. And when teams don't run up the middle, that must mean they don't think they can move the nose tackles. And it looks like the front 4 for Grambling State controlling the line of scrimmage, forcing the Panthers to attack the perimeter. 3rd
down and 7 from the 49. KJ Black back to pass, has his man. Great catch made by number 2, Sean Stevens, the senior from Houston. That's an 11-yard pickup and another 1st down for the Panthers.
Sean Stevens is emerging as the go-to target for this Prairie View offense. He's got 2 touchdowns on the year. They need a 3rd down conversion after they went to it. The timing on this was just perfect. A 5th step drop back hit, throw it in rhythm, coming right out the break. The ball was there, and those are the things a week ago they wouldn't have converted on that type of pass. It's a timing route pattern, but this week, another week of practice, game speed, 1st down.
KJ Black now 7 of 8 for 66 yards. 1st down from the 40. Babers looking through a hole, very patient. This time he'll pick up, call it about 3 yards before number 3, Bruna Foster, comes up and makes the stop for Grambling State.
Coming from that strong safety position, and you can tell these teams right here, I mean, they get physical. They feel it in the air, down in the trenches. You know, they're trying to battle each other out. You know, it all started in pregame. They had some little altercation words there. I think it's taken a lot for Prairie View to get the respect of Grambling, and now Grambling doesn't want to keep respecting them. They're still trying to disrespect them, but Prairie View's too good a football team to disrespect.
This drive started back in the 1st quarter as Prairie View A&M was pinned deep in their own territory. 2nd down and 7. Babers again, this time gets to the line of scrimmage, and he is stacked up. Ball comes out, but they're going to blow this one dead. And for the moment, Babers was bent backwards. So those tackles, you can see how he stands up. Charlie Brewer, number 51, makes the stop.
Yeah, look at him get bent all around there. Normally don't see good things happen when running backs get stretched out in that type of position, but it's a good thing to see him jogging back to the sideline.
Henry Frazier, the head man at Prairie View A&M, doing a fantastic job down at that school. The defending SWAC champions. And as Jay pointed out, this game usually determines who's going to win that West Division. Devin Brown now in the backfield for the Panthers. 3rd and 7. KJ Black scrambling. It's taken down at about the 33-yard line. Number 50, Cliff Exuma, makes the stop. 5-yard pickup for the Panthers. And that'll bring up decision time now, Professor Walker. What do you do?
I think he got you close enough within 2 yards, you might go for it, but they don't have the power running game. Good job of making a quick decision, but every time he runs the ball, you know, you can just feel Coach Frazier taking a deep breath.
No decision here. They're going for it on 4th down. Or are they? Fourth and 3. Oh, had his man, but that ball made contact with the turf. Spencer Nelson had enough for the 1st down, but was unable to hold on to it.
Yeah, that's tough there. You mean, throws coming, balls behind him on the left a little bit. He tried to pull it in and put it on the ground. Turf doesn't miss too many tackles, and it doesn't miss too many passes.
Will step aside with 9:04 to play in the 1st half. It is Prairie View A&M, and look at this. When he's not having a turkey bone leg, Jay Walker sat down for our resident auditors and got a new driver's license picture.
A true story from Farmers Insurance.
I was blown away because she told me about these lower rates.
The farm.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. You have to be here. Step right up, folks. Get about anything fried here. I was thinking about dropping off my iPhone and see if they would deep fry that. I'm sure they would. Those were fried pickles. I'm sure Jay will sample those a little later on in the game. Back here, Prairie View A&M on top 10-7 here in the 2nd quarter with 9:04 to play as Grambling State takes back over at the 32-yard line with the freshman Anthony Carruthers in the I formation under center.
What up, what up? What's up? Remember tonight? Woo! 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 Tonight, the backspin, 9 to 11.
Handoff on the right-hand side. Big Frank Warren powering across, and it took about 4 or 5 Panthers to bring him down. Number 6, Moses Ellis, finally able to wrestle Big Frank to the ground, but not before he picks up 27 yards.
Yeah, this Grambling line has gotten more agile during the Broadway years. A lot of counter traps, and you see Frank Warren running the daylight and getting to the outside, going through that shoestring tackle there, showing you how he was able to put 250 yards on the scoreboard last week, rushing yards.
So a 1st and 10 from the 42. Back to the running game, back to Frank Warren. He gets all the way out to about the 33, make it the 34-yard line. Number 3, Chris Adangupu makes the stop.
Adangupu was one of those guys that was a senior safety there, started, then got beat out in camp by Breon Johnson, who's a freshman, and Coach Frazier's got a rule. If you get tied by a freshman, then I'm going to go with the freshman. I got more years to groom the freshman. Not to say anything bad about Chris, but he said he's a great player, but Breon Johnson's going to be a special talent.
Warren again.
Warren puts his head down. Chris Adangupu comes up, makes the stop, pays a bit of price for it, but it's a 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Now, this is the offense we've seen, but in the past, we've seen them, I don't want to say step on a landmine, but have a few problems finishing it up.
Be a holding penalty or be a shift or formation. So this is one where you got to grind in. You know, you start crossing midfield. Once you get another team's 30 to 35-yard line, they like to give you some different looks, exotic blitzes, maybe confuse you a little bit more, bring pressure. So that's when you got to test your mental football IQ and do the right thing. More likely, the team's going to bring pressure once you start getting on this part of the field.
1st and 10 from the 30. You got a reverse coming. And how about your freshman quarterback coming up and laying a lick? Number 15, Kiari Thompson. It's not going to go for a big gain. Actually going to go for a 6-yard loss. Lester Butler, number 8, makes the stop. But how about the freshman coming up and dropping a shoulder to try to spring his back?
Yeah, one of the linebackers was coming to hit him, and he got an opportunity to pay him back. 56, Marcus White, keep your head on a swivel. I like when QBs get the better end of the deal.
You see that little freshman, though? You tell me he's 5'8", 180 or so, and he came up and laid a pop on it.
Yeah, I didn't say he didn't have heart. I just say he didn't have a lot of size.
Ball now at the 36-yard line. Make it 2nd down and 16 for Grambling State. Crothers with a release. Nice catch made out of the backfield. That was one where Frank Warren may have wanted to let that one fall to the ground. Number 56, Dalvin Nettles make the stop, and it's a 4-yard loss. So 2 plays, 10 yards lost. Watch this block again. Freshman, get some.
Oh, he launched into him. But you see, that was a 3-step knockdown. So, had he really hit him, it would have been,
Hey,
right
give
away.
the freshman some credit, though. He did not lead with a throwing arm. He dropped the non-throwing arm.
Yeah. Smart kid. I mean, he's a quarterback. QB's always the smartest guys on the field.
Must have gone to an academic institution down there in Charlotte, right?
No, they win games, so you can say Independence is more than an academic institution.
3rd down and 19 for Grambling State, trying to reverse the trend. Carruthers trying to get it all back, and this time a flag's going to come out. He had his man. The ball was underthrown, but Van Phillips, number 83, was the intended receiver. And number 3, Chris Adangupu, comes up with the standard hands out. What did I do?
Pass interference on the defense. Number 23, 15 yards from the previous spot. 1st down.
Added 2 to that number. It was 23, Adrian Grant, the redshirt freshman from Mount Morris, that's caught that time.
And that was one there where you just can't do that one. I mean, you got 3rd and forever almost. All you have to do is just sit back. Ball was underthrown, but getting there that early, that's another one of those mental errors that you can't make on the defensive side of the football.
So new life for the Tigers, 1st and 10. Warren with the call. Hung up in the backfield, but he'll fall forward, pick up about 2 yards. Quentin Spears, number 90, the senior from Montgomery, Texas, comes up and makes the stop for the Panthers.
Yeah, that was a really big penalty because the Prairie View offense is starting to find some type of rhythm with the ability to move the ball. Right. Now with 5 minutes to go in the half, I'm sure that the Grambling offense is going to take their time. No big rush to allow a hot Prairie View offense get back on the field in a hurry, so they'll be able to melt this down, get some time off the clock, and get some points on the board.
2nd down and 8. Carruthers with the key. He gets out inside the 20-yard line. Number 56, Dalvin Nettles, comes up and makes the stop on the freshman quarterback. Ball rested at the 19-yard line. It's a 4-yard pickup.
Yeah, this is in space right here. You see him pulling it. One-on-one move. No, you put that hit on me. Now it's my turn to return the favor to you, little man. Gotcha. Well, that's what you want. I mean, that's kind of what the spread offense does with that little zone read or dart play. You get an opportunity to put an athletic quarterback or running back in space against a linebacker that typically don't move so well side to side, and they can pick up positive yardage.
3rd and 5 for the Tigers. Warren gets the call. First man can't bring him down, and there it again. Your point, Jay, yards after contact. Frank Warren is feasting off that. Deion Jones, number 51, finally comes up and makes the stop. 6-yard pickup for the Tigers.
And you'll see the misdirection. Line goes to the right, fullback slides out to the left, and after the initial contact, you see the hit right there, still going on his feet, and then look at the lean. Look at the lean. Good running backs have that lean. Always moving forward, getting forward progress.
1st and 10. Ball resting at the 13. Frank Warren again. Had him in the backfield, couldn't bring him down. 56, Dalvin Nettles does finally make the stop. Another 5 yards for Frank Warren, the senior from Pleasant Grove, Alabama. Warren's going to come out and get himself a little break. He's certainly earned that.
Warren's taking a little blow there. He was getting it done, but one thing about this offensive line, they're agile. They don't get tired, so I think that's what the Grambling men do. They wear you down. They don't get tired. They keep going straight ahead.
Cornelius Walker, the lone setback. He'll get the call off the left-hand side. He'll get just across the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain. Number 14, Chris Ford, the senior from Houston, from the wheel linebacker position, came over and did a nice job of pursuit and making the stop. So it's 3rd down and 5. Ball resting at about the 7-yard line, and Grambling State has got a nice drive going here. Can they convert? Trailing 10-7 with under 3 minutes to play here in the first half of the State Fair Classic. Wildcat formation. Direct snap. Up the middle. Not enough for the first down as the ball was snapped directly to Rodale Pippin. Pick up of 3 yards once again, and it looks like Grambling State getting away from their bread and butter this time. Up the middle, and Rodale Pippin comes in. So Prairie View A&M doing a good job of defending that Wildcat formation.
Is that a new position you could say? So if you're Rodale Pippin, they say, what position you play? I play Wildcat back. Wildcat
back, yeah, absolutely. I think since we're at the Texas State Fair, I mean, go the turkey leg. Something along the line. Fried Wildcat, how about that? 1st and goal. Cornelius Walker comes in, the senior from Atlanta, number 27. He pounds forward, picks up maybe a yard. Jay, you talked about this. Grambling State, not a power running team. Quentin Spears makes the stop. In this situation, when you got a quarterback like Anthony Carruthers with the wheels, how about a rollout?
Man, possibly do a rollout, get a lead blocker out there on the edge, allow one of your running backs to let you overload one side of the line of scrimmage. So that's something I'm sure they're probably thinking about. But you got to think, if you're a physical football team or not, you get down there with a great running back that can run it, try and lean forward. You got to be able to go straight ahead and get this yards.
And they're bringing the power play with Frank Warren in the I formation. Warren up the middle. And it's going to be touchdown Tigers. 2-yard pickup. Frank Warren just bowls forward. So he did most of the work on that drive. They give him a spell for 2 or 3 plays. The offense can't do much. He comes in and cleans it up.
Yeah, you know, body on the body, hat on a hat. Make yourself small. Change your pad level, lower it, get to the end zone.
So with 1:33 to go, Grambling State comes in. Zoltan Riazo. And he puts it through the upright. So it's 14-10. Grambling State has the lead. How about Anthony Carruthers, the freshman? His reaction, it's all good. Back to Dallas after this. Back to the Cotton Bowl. This is the State Fair Classic. Grambling State on top of Prairie View A&M, 14-10. 1:33 to go here in the first half, alongside Jay Walker, Todd Harris. Glad to have you with us, as this is the precursor to the big one next week, the Red River Shootout. Texas State Fair, the largest state fair in the USA, opened up yesterday for business. You can get all the fried food. You can watch great football. Don't mention those rides, because if you have one of those turkey legs or a deep fried Pop-Tart, you need to stay away from those spinning rides.
Yeah, I wouldn't mix the two together.
No,
wouldn't be smart.
Not a good call. Zoltan Riazo kicks it away for Grambling State. Michael Benson. And Benson gets it out to about the 31-yard line, a pickup of 16 yards. So Prairie View A&M has 1:25 to engineer something, trailing 14-10 here at the State Fair Classic.
It's time for the Bud Light Playbook. Today, how to work the weekend without missing the game.
What's happening? Since we're stuck here working the weekend, I hooked up the projector to show the game.
And I brought in some Bud Light.
Thompson!
Excellent job.
Are they hiring? Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Style points don't show up in the box score. Talking a good game has never won a championship. And we're sorry to break it to you. It's not the shoes. It's the work, the pride, the blood, and the tears. Because Russell's wicking sweat out of the equation. Russell Dry Power Moisture wicking tees and fleece. The next evolution in over 100 years of raw performance.
It took 5 years to work up the courage a year to find the space, and a lifetime collecting family recipes. It takes time to start a small business, but only 60 days to transform it with email marketing from Constant Contact. Sign up with Constant Contact and get 60 days of free email marketing to increase sales, attract customers, and build the business you've always wanted. Constant Contact. Start.
Back in Dallas as the sun is setting, a minute 25 to go in the first half here at the State Fair Classic. Grambling stayed on top 14-10. You're watching ESPNU College Football Prime Time presented by McDonald's. Alongside Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harrison. Some of the prettiest ladies in the state of Texas on display. Halftime, two of the best bands in college football on display. We've already talked about the food. If you're a football fan and you like food and pretty scenery, you should be here.
And what about a little rhythm? You know, halftime show is going to be off the hook.
That's what they say. 1st and 10. Prairie View A&M looking to strike before the end of the half, and this is not going to be going the way of one KJ Black. Flag comes out. Antoine Rogers, number 98, with the sack. 6-yard loss if this stands. Oh, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, this is where, you know, for KJ Black, the rhythm of the timing is not there.
15 yards from the previous spot, automatic. First down.
You know, make a decision there quickly. You know, I think if he's in game form and he's been playing all along, you know, that's something where you look up there, it's not there. You either throw the ball out of bounds or you take off running. But the last thing that a veteran quarterback should be doing is taking a sack right before the half when you don't have to, and you have plenty of time to get rid of the football. But those are some of the things that just have to come back to you. You know, you can't say it over and over enough. That, you know, you get those in games and you need to be in game situations. You just can't get that type of repetition in practice.
Penalty goes the way of the Panthers. 1st and 10, ball at the 47. Brothers comes out firing, has his man, number 80, Brandon Bell, the senior from Pompano Beach, Florida. 9-yard pickup. Clock continues to run. Derek Johnson, number 59, makes the stop for the Tigers. But the Panthers are driving into Grambling territory. 5 wide receivers. Snap is fumbled. Clock's going to continue to run here. I don't know why you want maybe burn a timeout here, talk things over, regroup.
I mean, don't forget they used 2 timeouts earlier that they probably wish they hadn't have done. And when you see that last play there, you're wondering where's the sense of urgency? I mean, they're sitting there letting all this time just keep ticking off the clock. You call a play and run it.
3rd and 6.
3rd down and 6. Black across the middle has his receiver, had him wide open, was looking for number 4, Spencer Nelson. And again, that ball just a little bit underthrown. Nelson cannot come up with it. That'll bring up a 4th and 7 with 21 seconds to go. And it looks like Prairie View A&M's not going to fool around. They're going to punt this one away.
Yeah, you know, not a lot of pocket there for him to step up and throw to. But if you're Nelson coming across the middle, you've got to come in a straight line. He was drifting. That's one where Nelson's got to help out his quarterback and make that drive-saving catch.
Grambling's going to call a timeout and talk this over, make sure they handle it. Hey, join host Lowell Galindo with David Pollock and Tom Luganville for BCS Countdown for in-depth analysis of Week 4 and a look ahead to Week 5. The BCS Countdown presented by Allstate on ESPNU and ESPNU HD. That's Monday at 6 Eastern. Jay, I know you and I both have some strong opinions about the BCS, the polling, all that stuff, and some of the conferences that get that automatic bid into the BCS. I'll tell you what, I'm of the thinking that why not rotate it? After the BCS comes out, look at the conference as a whole and say, is this conference deserving of an automatic bid? Because I'll tell you, week in and week out, you could make a case for the WAC with Nevada and Boise State. You could make a case for the Mountain West with TCU, Utah, BYU. And you've got conferences that, they got teams that, I mean, let's be honest, not putting up BCS-like performances.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's been the case. I mean, you can look at a team, you can just win the Big East, and basically, the Big East isn't a power conference, but you're going to be in a BCS game, and, you know, you end up taking the short end of the stick. The Big East can keep a team like a TCU or Boise State out, so they need to do something.
Something needs to be tweaked.
Because I hate to say it, but what you're doing is not working. But, I mean, in the case of Alabama, big win today over Arkansas, so I guess that'll help some of the BCS faithful.
Flag comes out. Kiari Thompson is back to receive.
On the offense.
It's a delay of game on A&M.
Fourth down.
Well, big stories today. Texas goes down. As you pointed out, Alabama survives a very game Arkansas program. I think everyone's waiting for the doctor's report on Mark Robinson of Michigan. Yes. That is a thrilling young man. He went down with what they're saying right now is a sprained knee.
Is it too early to talk Heisman Trophy?
You got to put his name in there if you do. Short hop by Pedro Ventura, lucky to get this one away. Thompson right at the 15-yard line is pinned in. A great job of coverage by the Panthers. 38-yard punt. Now coming into the weekend, some of the names on that list for Heisman: Andy Dalton from TCU. Ryan Mallett had a pretty good game today against the #1 team in the land. And Denard Robinson. You watch this kid, he is absolutely explosive. I think he runs like our main man on College Game Day from Michigan. He runs like Desmond.
Well, like Desmond, but at the quarterback position. A little
and he
magic.
can throw.
And he can throw, but there's one, kind of my dark horse in there is not showing up there, and that's Kellen Moore. Yeah, Kellen Moore, I think.
All he does is win.
Yep. Then I was thinking earlier, I really thought that Case Keenum would have had a chance, but it looks like, his season is over, so Heisman, it'll change week to week.
No question about it. First half will come to an end here at the State Fair Classic. Grambling on top 14-10 as we step aside. As the halftime show gets underway, we'll have that coverage for you when we come back to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
Road to a championship. Wednesday, the #24 Wildcats take on the 20th ranked Lady Vols at 8. Then at 10, #5 Hawaii battles New Mexico State. The action begins Wednesday at 8 on ESPNU.
You are watching ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's. Back at the Texas State Fair, this is the State Fair Classic, where Grambling State leads Prairie View A&M 14-10 here at the half. Alongside my supersized friend Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harris, both of us 5 pounds heavier. I tried the deep-fried cheesecake at the half.
What do you think?
It's rock solid, but I'm really going to need those CPR paddles here, I'm afraid.
I think so, and I decided to go with more of the fried Pop-Tart. That was delicious, by the way. And then I went with the chili Frito pie. But why fry it? It's so good without it putting it in grease. They fried it just to make it even more unhealthy for you. The frozen fried margarita, nah.
I like how they included the sour cream, too, because you need a little more on there.
Yeah, add a little color. You got to add a little color. It's all about presentation, buddy.
Well, it has been great so far offensively for both teams running the ball. Both teams have had their success there. Let's talk, first of all, about Donald Babers for Prairie View A&M.
Yeah, they've been waiting for Babers to get going, and you can see the shiftiness and the ability to make guys miss. The problem is he's only averaging about 2.5 yards per carry, so they've got to get more holes to him. That means he has to stop losing yardage on some of the plays that are really hurting his team. And then you go on the other side, you look at Frank Warren. He's continuing where he left off a week ago. Last week, he rushed for over 250 yards. Tonight's contest, he's averaging 7.8 yards per carry. That's getting it done. Look for a heavy dose of Frank Warren to get the Tiger offense on track in the second half.
As we take a look at the stats for both of the featured running backs, Babers and Warren. Babers going for 26 yards, but he has a touchdown. There's the 2.3 average you alluded to. But look at the average for Frank Warren, 7.8 on 10 carries. He has a touchdown as well here in the first half. So let's take a look at Professor Jay's midterm report for both teams.
I think for Prairie View A&M, they get a C. Babers and Black, they're playing okay, respectable, but not great. They need to step it up a little bit. Defensively confusing the baby quarterback. I think they've done that at times, rattled them, so I give them a B there. You go take a look at Grambling. They're winning the time of possession where they lead 16 minutes or 13 minutes. They've done a good job of keeping Prairie View's offense off the field at time. And then take a look at their defense. Pressuring the quarterback, moving the pocket. KJ Black has not looked comfortable. He's had to run more than he would have liked to have, so give them a B. And I think they're winning by about that margin on the GPA. If you look at Grambling's probably a 3.0 right now, and Prairie View A&M's about a 2.8, 2.7, and that's about a 4-point lead last time I checked. So it seems to be working out at the midway point. I'm a soft professor, man. I don't flunk anybody. I'm one of those guys.
I should have had your class if you were your classes in college.
That's what I do. I don't believe in failing the kids for their effort out there.
You're a big open book test kind of guy.
Yeah, if you show up on time, you get a good grade, almost like the SAT. They give you a couple hundred points for filling. Yeah, signing up, things of that nature. That can be me sometimes.
Professor Jay coming to a college or university near you. Well, head coach Rod Broadway in his 4th year, looking at the scoreboard, seeing that they're up 14-10, and he's got to know he's left a few points out there with the 2 turnovers they've given up.
I think so. Both the good thing for both these coaches is the game is still right there to be won. If you're Grambling, I mean, you're ahead. You may not feel like it so much. Both teams feel a little flat, but they're still in it. If you're Coach Frazier for Prairie View A&M, you realize, hey, one quick touchdown, you're back in the lead. You can let your defense go out there and try and make some plays. So this game is very much anybody's for the taking, and it's a matter of who wants to try and get the early lead on the quest to Birmingham, where the SWAC championship is played in December.
Henry Frazier in his 8th year. They are the defending SWAC champions, Prairie View A&M, but they find themselves trailing here 14-10.
Say that again for me, Todd. Prairie View A&M is the what?
The defending SWAC champions.
I mean, you talk about that Prairie View.
That Prairie View.
Really? But back-to-back, here's what's more impressive. Back-to-back 9-1 seasons. That Prairie View.
Well, what's amazing is parity in sports and how everything kind of comes around. You remember back in the days of Archie Manning quarterbacking the New Orleans Saints, and people came to the games as the Aints wearing brown bags on their heads, defending Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints.
The Aints, they're always going to be the Aints, so won't they? I mean, it just went so long, and it's a great story. When you talk about that Prairie View, it's one I don't think you can tell enough. I mean, the fact is, and I don't think many people realize, when they had the longest losing streak in the nation, they were doing that for about a decade with no scholarships. So they were in a conference that had every school had scholarships. Prairie View was giving out no scholarships. So those kids from Texas were going out there with just heart. And then when they broke that streak, they managed to invest in the program, and now they're seeing the returns.
Sultan Riazo sends it down to the 2-yard line. Michael Benson, and he's got some room to run. Michael Benson looking for a seam. Benson taken down all the way out. Grambling territory, the 46-yard line, a 53-yard return tackled by number 2, David Stuckman. So great starting position for head coach Henry Frazier and the Panthers as KJ Black comes out, and he'll have a short field to work with, trailing by 4.
Now, you've been around Coach Frazier a couple of days, seen him. You think he got at him pretty good at halftime?
Oh, there's no question. That's like, did Jay Walker get after that Frito pie pretty good?
Not as bad as you with that fried cheesecake.
1st and 10, ball resting at the 46. Black's going to tuck it, has his release man out there. Babers pushed out of bounds by number 50, Cliff Exema.
Yeah, look at that. He's continued
That's not good.
To struggle. Second time we've seen him lay down on the turf after a play, and definitely giving it all he's got.
Numbers for Black, 9 of 12 for 78 yards. We're going to have an official timeout as they can look at Babers. And I don't want to suggest that he's done for the game, but if they are without the services of Mr. Babers, what does that mean for the Panthers?
It's very thin, and when I talk to the coach staff about it, they'll probably have to go 5 wide. They'll shift to the offense, and you see right there at the end, kind of just buckles that step, doesn't want to go down on it. That's not a good sign there. But I mean, they were open, saying, it'd be tough for us if we lose Babers. We're probably have to go 5 wide receivers. And going 5 wide receivers with a quarterback that's got a gimpy knee that you're trying to protect does not make for an easy job at the office.
Well, they're definitely working on the right knee as we take a look at the Sheridan Top 10 poll. And South Carolina State, we'll see them next week. Florida A&M will be hosting South Carolina State. There's Prairie View. This is coming into the weekend, 1-2. And Grambling State at 1-1 in the 6th position. And
there'll be some change. There'll be some shakeups. Yeah. Florida A&M struggled with Tennessee State today. Tennessee State, I believe, Tennessee State beat Florida A&M, so they'll drop there. Tuskegee, impressive win over Texas Southern today, which is pretty good.
How about Alabama State winning again? Big victory last week. They back it up. It was no fluke.
I mean, that's a story that, Reggie Barlow was on the hot seat clearly before the season started. Now he comes out, gets to 4-0. I mean, who would have thunk it? I mean, he had to change all of his offensive staff and defensive staff, and now they're off to an undefeated season.
Michael Benson, who is also on the turf. They bring in a backup running back, number 40, Devin Brown, checking in. Stephen McCord, number 31, the free safety, comes up and makes the stop. 5-yard pickup for the Panthers. So we talked about Babers being the featured back, the senior from Houston. He goes to the sideline being looked after, so that leaves it to Calvin Guyton and Devin Brown. And you mentioned Calvin Guyton may not be seeing him today.
No, yeah, they had high hopes for him. He was just starting to play his best football. He's a transfer from Texas A&M, and they really thought they had a solid running back for the future, and he's still going to be a solid player. But injury got hurt last week, so he's out. So they're just real thin which was a strength of this team. Heavy at running back. Now they're thin at running back, and they're struggling.
You talk about K.J. Black, the senior from Louisville, Kentucky, who runs the program here in the offense for Henry Frazier. Are you surprised they don't turn him loose more a la, well, we're in Texas, so I'll say Vince Young? I mean, he's got the running abilities.
When healthy, but, I mean, you can't see it today, but Frazier was paranoid about him running the football.
Yeah.
They really want to protect him, and, he's thinking about the kid's career. The type of surgery he had normally takes 6 months to recover from. He's doing it in 4 months. And so, the scouts know that. The NFL scouts are coming in, taking a look at him. They like his toughness. So he's trying to protect the kid the best that he can, trying to limit the running. But we see at times just the athleticism, and the competitor comes out in him where he will run, but he can run. He's just choosing not to, picking the spots.
1st and 10 from just outside the 36. K.J. Black looking, gets away from the pressure, does a great job of picking up yardage. Derek Johnson makes the stop, 4-yard pickup for K.J. Black. Antoine Rogers had a shot at him, number 98, couldn't bring him down. K.J. Black, as we said, the senior from Louisville, 6'4", 220. And you get him in an NFL program and proper training table and weightlifting program, he could probably put on another 10 or 15.
Yeah, I mean, he's added some with the surgery, not being able to run. So he's bulked up now. I think he's probably walking around about close to 230 pounds. Been lifting plenty of weights because he's a workout warrior. But you see that knee brace there. I mean, when they start getting that big, you kind of lose your mobility.
How about this piece of running? Steve McCord has to make the stop, an 11-yard pickup. Number 40, Devin Brown, again spelling Donald Babers, who's gone out with a right knee injury. No word on if he'll be coming back to the game, and they found themselves another nice runner at Prairie View A&M. Another first down, ball now at the 20.
Yeah, and he seems to be more of a north-south runner, not afraid to mix it up in there, get vertical, and deliver the power running game.
Brown gets the call.
So you can tell when he runs, had Babers got that, he might have tried to put a little move in that whole shift and bounce to the outside. You get it to Brown, and Brown straight ahead, north-south. He's not afraid to mix it up.
2-yard pickup.
He looks like
Prairie.
He's toughing it out, though. He's been grimacing every time he touches the football.
Ball resting at the 17, 2nd down and 7 for Prairie View on their opening drive of the second half. K.J. Black in the pocket, back to pass, has a man in the corner, defender falls down, and it's touchdown Panthers. Sean Stephen hauls it in, 17-yard strike for Prairie View A&M. He was wide open. It looked like the defender, David Stuckman, had some problem with the footwork.
Yeah, got him on the post corner route there, and the reason why he fell, he got turned around like a top. Hard on the inside. Stevens broke the route off to the outside. Great athletic catch. K.J. Black put it in a position where only Stevens could make the catch.
Extra point is good, and Prairie View out in front again. 17-14 here in the third quarter of the State Fair Classic from the Cotton Bowl. Sean Stevens with a big touchdown.
We enhance. This telecast is presented in high definition on ESPNU HD by Comcast.
17-14, Prairie View A&M on top of Grambling State here in the third quarter of the State Fair Classic. Now it's time for Bringing the Flavor, brought to you by McDonald's.
Game time, watch and see. Ain't nobody stopping me. It's game time. We up. Now get up. We up. Now get up. Now get up. You know what's up. Game time.
There are your HBCU headlines. Bethune-Cookman under new leadership. Wildcats 3-0. Alcorn State stays perfect. South Carolina State on ESPNU. That's next Saturday as they travel to face Florida A&M. And one correction, Alabama State did not win today. Alabama State lost today. So our apologies there.
So Alcorn's still the undefeated team. They take a look at that graphic. And South Carolina State, they're good. Malcolm Long, we'll see him next week. They are the real deal. And, You know, you can just tell they're still playing with that chip on their shoulder. The past 2 years getting beaten in the postseason by Armonte Edwards and that Appalachian State program. Well, Armonte's no longer playing for App State, so I think the Bulldogs are saying, go ahead and send this to Appalachia again. Let's see what happens.
Pedro Ventura set to kick it off for the Panthers. Low line driving squib kick. Taken at the 20 by David Stuckman. Stuckman will be taken down about the 29-yard line for a return of 10 yards. Brennan Gordon on the tackle. BCS Countdown, 6 o'clock Eastern, presented by Allstate. You can see that on ESPNU. Lowell Galindo and company will talk BCS Countdown. You won't want to miss that. And I can't believe BCS standings are coming out, what, just over 2 weeks. We'll be talking BCS and who's going to the BCS. That will be decided a little later on in the year. And I tell you, people are already talking about Boise State, TCU. They're going to get frozen out again.
That is a question. Well, I think, you know, the key is they actually, you know, figured out, if you're Boise State, they figured out a recipe to crash the BCS. Schedule a team ranked in the top 10 early in the year, get that victory, then you got a nice schedule, so what? You know, keep on winning. So they seem to have been the only non-automatic qualifying team out there to figure out a way to annually get back into the BCS
They've got to
mix.
get past the Oregon State Beavers today, tied early on in the first quarter out in Boise. Now, Lee Corso didn't make a lot of friends because he said Boise State, even if they're undefeated, have no shot and have no business playing for the national championship. And after this play, we'll continue that conversation on 2nd down and 8. Carruthers back to pass. He's going to go for it all. Has a man streaking across the middle. Catch is made. Kiari Thompson with the reception all the way down to the 21-yard line. Moses Ellis on the coverage.
You take a look here. Good time in the pocket. And look at the little general. Stand firm. Deliver a strike in stride to Kiari Thompson there. Free safety was caught going to the left side, came back through it to the right. Good throw and catch.
43-yard pickup for Grambling State. And that is certainly something we have not seen in this game. They have pretty much relied on the running game, and Frank Warren this time, as you called, the little general stepping up and delivering a strike.
Yeah, uncharacteristic. Normally Grambling uses the horizontal passing game. That time they came with the vertical pass game.
Back to the running game, and Frank Warren gashing off the left-hand side. Takes big number 90, 6'6", 240 Quentin Spears to drag him down, but he gets all the way down to the 11-yard line. A 13-yard pickup. Check that ball resting at the 12-yard line, and Grambling State's got the offense working.
Yeah, good power running there by Frank Warren. You know, one thing about it, you can tell he keeps his pad level low, which is a good thing. You want your running back there. You know, good offense come up. We say it so often, you know, you use the big pass play to set up the running game, and Grambling State's no different on offense right now.
1st and 10 for the Tigers. On the delay read, Warren gets to the left-hand side. He'll walk in for a touchdown. Grambling. How about the block by number 9, Bakari Maxwell?
Look on the right side of your screen. You'll see him right there. Look at that seal block on the inside. Once he does that, you see big runs by running backs downfield. Normally means great wide receiver blocking. Bakari Maxwell did a good job of getting his man.
Number 40, Zoltan Riazo, will add on the extra point, but there's a flag first.
Illegal. Substitution on the defense. 12 men on the field. Half the distance to the goal.
Line up and do it this time again with Prairie View A&M with just 11 players on the field. Zoltan Riazo still on to kick. And the hold was botched.
Block the kick.
Looked like Fabian Carter, number 38, had a hard time handling the snap, so it's a 2017 game. Grambling on top here at the State Fair Classic.
ESPNU brings you women's college soccer every Sunday.
Tigers win the goal!
From SEC country to the Pacific Coast, catch all of the golden goals,
shot, goal!
And spectacular saves.
Oh my gosh, what a save!
That define a season and mold a champion. Sunday, preseason all-league pick Taylor Cunningham leads Ole Miss against Auburn.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is brought to you by the new 2011 Lexus IS, wheel precision. Filling the order of one, Jay Walker, the Corny Dogs, one of the favorites here at the Texas State Fair. Not recommended on the heart-healthy diet, but they are tasty as the lights of the Midway come alive here at one of the greatest fairs in the entire land. 2017, Grambling State surging ahead with 9:55 to play here in the third. Alongside Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harris. Glad to have you with us here at the State Fair Classic. Michael Benson from the 6. Benson finding some room to run. Nifty double spin there, gets out to about the 26-yard line. A 20-yard return. Bruna Foster making the stop. Right now, let's take a look at the road ahead, brought to you by Lexus. First for Prairie View A&M. What do you think? Doable?
I mean, doable. This is the stretch of the schedule. If they can come from this game victorious, and obviously Pine Bluff still trying to improve on their program. Lincoln, Missouri, they should win that game there. The Southern Jaguars, they're in an identity crisis right now. Then I think the big one becomes, the back half of that schedule. Jackson State and Alcorn State. Which one of those two teams will still be hanging strong in the Eastern Division of the SWAC to try and knock off the Panthers?
Devin Brown remains the featured back for Prairie View A&M. He surges forward just past the 30-yard line. A pickup of 4. Derek Wilhite, number 28, comes up and makes the stop. If you're just joining us, Donald Babers, the senior from Houston, number 13, the feature back, who had a touchdown in the first half, is now finally back on the field. But he had to sit out for the last 10 minutes or so, hoping that it wasn't serious, but they were working on his right knee.
Yeah, he's been down twice so far in this contest. And if you're Prairie View, you just hope he doesn't go down a third time, because they will need his services in this game.
Second down and 6. KJ Black with time. Thought about running it, tucks it under, gets out to almost the 35-yard line. Brought down by number 91, Kendall Robinson.
Yeah, you see Black here just looking and call this a coverage sack right here. He's trying to find somebody. You see white jerseys surrounded by black jerseys. KJ Black had no choice but just to move forward.
And this is a pretty serious injury to the center, number 58, Anthony Wilson. This is a look-away injury if you're watching at home. Well, there's been 5 lead changes so far tonight, but all concern is for number 58, Anthony Wilson. He's a 6'2", 260-pound sophomore from Flower Mound, Texas. Head coach Henry Frazier comes out and consoles that they are going to bring the card out immediately. They're not going to fool around with this, and we will step aside. We'll be back to Dallas after this short break.
Since 1920, we are the Southwestern Athletic Conference, the collegiate home of Hall of Famers like Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, Willis Reed, and Lou Brock. The tradition and pageantry of college athletics combined with a world-class education. 10 globally focused institutions offering 18 NCAA Division I sports. We are the Southwestern Athletic Conference. With a vision to the future, we honor the heritage.
ESPN.
Back in the Cotton Bowl, something you never want to see. Number 58, Anthony Wilson, going off with a serious left leg injury. We will not show you the replay, but it was unfortunate as we get back to live action on the field. And a beautiful catch made by number 2, Sean Stevens, and the flag comes out. Whether it stands or not, Sean Stevens may be looking at a play of the day. 25-yard pickup.
Yeah, great coverage there by Desmond Leonard. Did he grab the one hand and not get it free? But what a fantastic individual effort by Sean Stevens.
It looks like this is going to stand.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 4, penalty will be declined. First down.
Desmond, you did a great job of coverage, but still the catch was made. Look at this one more time.
Yeah, on the left side, he's running with them stride for stride. He's right there with them, but ooh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you call that pass interference. I mean, he's running with them, riding him, arms got tangled a little bit, but good job by Sean Stevens of reaching out there with that left hand. Did that left-handed, too. Brought it in for the big catch.
After the emotional injury, Anthony Wilson goes over there, and the team responds with a huge strike on that pass play, picking up 28 yards. KJ Black finding Sean Stevens, the senior from Houston, on a beautiful pass and even more spectacular catch.
Now the center for Prairie View A&M is Stoney Owens. And so they're bringing Owens in there. He's been a 3-year starter at center, but he's been banged up, hasn't had the opportunity to play. So this is his first action. He's got a high ankle sprain, so let's see how effective he can be out there.
When in doubt, go to Mr. Babers. Stoney Owens, you pointed out, the 6'2", 285 redshirt senior from El Paso, Texas. So he is called upon to fill the void as a 3-yard pickup goes to Donald Babers. And Prairie View A&M getting nicked up in this game.
Yeah.
If they get the victory, it'll be great, but it will be costly.
It will, because, you know, when you talk to coach, said, you know, what's going on with the running game? They say, well, we haven't had the captain of our offensive line, and Stoney Owens, who's been starting for 3 years for us. And sometimes when you play that center position, you're in charge of making the right calls with protection as well as the running game. So look for Stoney Owens to come here and try and make his impact felt with the mental decisions.
2nd down and 7. They come out firing, finding Sean Stevens again. Desmond Leonard on the coverage this time, 5-yard pickup. Just to let you know, Anthony Wilson, the young man who came out with a serious injury, he is being loaded immediately into a hospital ambulance just standing by here at the Cotton Bowl. They're not even going to take him into the locker room and fool around with it. He is going straight to the local hospital, and we wish him the best of luck. Meanwhile, KJ Black, 12 of 15 for 128 yards. Devin Brown now the featured back for the Panthers. 3rd and 2. Oh, and a beautiful tackle made, but there is a flag on the play. Number 50, Cliff Exuma, comes flying in. 3-yard loss, but we'll wait and see what the call is.
Did he get a head start?
Offside. On the defense.
93.
5-yard result and a first down.
Antonio Leonard, the end. Wow. How about Cliff Exuma?
That's how you plug the gap. You know, if you're going to call one of those run-stopping blitzes, you know, cover your gap, and if the ball comes your way, make the big hit. Unfortunately, his teammate Antonio Leonard, defensive end, jumped off sides early to give the Panthers a first down.
1st and 10 as we go over in 7 minutes of play in the 3rd quarter. Donald Babers back in for the Panthers as the featured back. KJ Black out of the shotgun. From the 25, man wide open down the middle, ball stripped away. And Grambling has recovered. Devin Brown was on his way to the end zone, and the ball came out at the 3-yard line. Grambling recovers.
You know, middle of the field open, got one-on-one coverage down the seam. They sneak him in the backfield, perfectly thrown pass, and Brown made the catch and then got stripped in there. Did he make an athletic move here? I thought he did. Woo, that's close.
Desmond Leonard swipes it away. Derek Wilhite comes over and recovers for Grambling. So just when Prairie View A&M was on their way in, Grambling knocks it away. Head coach Frazier not happy with that. So from the 3, Grambling State takes over. Anthony Carruthers under center, not going to fool around with this. And what do you need? You need some more Frank Warren, the SWAC Offensive Player of the Week last week. 16 carries, 256 yards. Takes Jarvis Wilson and Raheem Cardwell, number 11. They got to team up to bring him down, a 6-yard pickup.
Yeah, that's what you need right there. That's some tough running right there. Backed up, young freshman quarterback in a huge game. You need a little bit of breathing room. What do you do? Go to your power back. Didn't get a 7.5 yard per carry average, but I think they'll settle for the 6.
Once again, Frank Warren up the middle. He gets into the secondary. Number 23, Adrian Grant, the redshirt freshman from Mount Morris, Michigan, makes the stop.
You know, and I really like the way the offensive line of Graham, I think they're changing, you know, the way offensive line play is done in the SWAC. They used to have a term called SWAC big lineman. big guy, 6'6", 340 pounds, maybe having 18, 19% body fat. You know, this one's a little bit leaner, more active, so they're able to go with the quick traps and the draws. And you traditionally don't see that from the SWAC conference offensive linemen, but Coach Broadway doesn't have those SWAC big linemen anymore. He's got agile guys that pull on every play.
1st and 10 for Grambling. Going deep once again, Carruthers just outthrows his man. He was looking for number 15, Kiari Thompson. Another thing that Coach Broadway doesn't have is replay, and at this level, as we see the ball go off the fingertips of Kiari Thompson, they do not replay or review every play. And I'm wondering if you went back, if that fumble by Devin Brown of Prairie View A&M may not have been overturned.
Yeah, that would have been overturned, I think. And, you know, no replay on this level until you get to postseason. And once you get into the playoffs, then the replay becomes part of the equation, but not during the regular season.
Well, we do have replay, so we'll take a look at it again. 2nd down and 10. Warren with the carry off the right-hand side. He's pushed out of bounds at about the 19-yard line. Chris Ford on the coverage, 5-yard pickup. Let's look at that play one more time. Did he make the catch, and did he have possession?
I mean, clearly a bang-bang play, but right when he turned, he didn't see the defender coming, and good job of stripping that ball away.
That was awfully close.
Would you have overturned it?
You know, I'd have to look at it at least 2 or 3 more times, I think, to make that determination.
So that's the problem with the review system now. The fans get upset when everybody takes their time looking at it over and over again.
But if you're Prairie View A&M, they would probably like to take that time. Meanwhile, big Frank Warren, 16 carries, 124 yards on the night so far, and we are just under 5 minutes to play here in the 3rd. Carruthers again out into the flats, finds his receiver. A nice pickup as Bakari Maxwell makes the reception. Lester Butler on the stop, but again, 6 more yards for Grambling.
Yeah, and that, you know, that's a big time throw right there. College football, the hash mark's a little bit wider than the professional game. He was over on the far right hash, able to throw that out route to the left hash across the field, cross his body for the 1st down pickup. That's how you take advantage of the college game. You know, with the wider hash marks, many defensive backs like to give you a little cushion once you're in the field. Well, if you've got the arm strength to get it there, go ahead and take it.
Grambling now starting to put together a beautiful grinding drive. They'll keep it on the ground. Frank Warren gets the call and falling forward as we take a look at the Lexus Road Ahead. Brought to you by Lexus as we take a look at the schedule. Grambling State, you see what they've got. What do you like there, and what don't you like if you're the Tigers?
You know, that A&M Grambling matchup always, you know, goes back and forth. Whoever the home team is normally wins that contest, so that'll be one there to take a look at. They got Alabama State right there in front of them, but, you know, I mean, let's be honest, this is Grambling. I mean, it all comes down to Thanksgiving weekend, November 27th, versus Southern University. I mean, everything's always right on that game.
The classic.
The classic, the Bayou Classic. Good as advertised year in, year out.
Carruthers rolling, takes a big hit, but has a man and just does not have the strength to get it out to number 83, Van Phillips. Jarvis Wilson, number 48, absolutely drilled the freshman.
Well, that's one where had he been able to step into this throw, this would have been a big play for Grambling. But you take a look, he's going to try, but he knows he's getting hit. Oh, I like it. I mean, as a quarterback, that's what you do. For those long completions downfield, even if you know you're going to get hit, you give it a try anyway.
Elton Holmes, number 52, also in on that action. Anthony Carruthers, 5'10", 180 freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina. And he's in a big situation here. 3rd down and 5. Ball resting at the 33. Carruthers has his man, unable to keep himself in bounds. Kiari Thompson, Lester Butler had the coverage, and he slipped and fell. If that had been thrown a little shorter, he might have gone the distance. 13-yard pickup.
Yeah, man-to-man coverage there, and the defensive back slipped, but Kiari Thompson was so busy trying to stay in bounds, secure the catch, make sure he got his feet in bounds. That's a good job. See, secure the ball. Don't even worry about cutting up field. Let's make sure we get the catch to keep the drive alive.
See, the coaches on the sideline were happy about the catch. We're like, son, turn it upfield. Your man fell down.
You know, and one thing I've noticed, every time Grambling gets in a pass situation, Prairie View's always blitzing linebackers, playing very aggressive. And when you blitz so often, you're playing one-on-one coverage in the secondary.
Carruthers with all kinds of time. He's going to let this one fly. Has a man out there, and that's going to draw a flag.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Every official on the field here at the Cotton Bowl threw a yellow flag. Lester Butler, Adrian Grant, take your choice. Double coverage, and, you know, for the freshman to throw the ball up there.
Pass interference. On the defense, number 23, we will go 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first.
They're going to pin that one on the strong safety, Adrian Grant. The freshman threw it up there, double coverage, took a chance, and it turns out well.
Yeah, I mean, he did, but that was just a poor angle by Adrian Grant. You know, when you're playing the deep middle, don't let anything get behind you. Once the ball comes that way, he just decided to just wipe out the wide receiver.
Got to play that ball, right?
Rather than locate the football, go up and try and make a play. And, you know, it's not one of those balls where he couldn't have got to and tipped it. He just went for the wipeout angle.
Remember, this drive started on the 3-yard line.
Started way back there, didn't it?
And they're burning up all kinds of clock. You also have to remember Prairie View A&M's defense has been out there for a long time.
She is the winner of the Farmers Super Prize drawing.
Coach Rod Broadway not happy about something. There you see the current drive, 8 plays, 58 yards, 3 minutes and 41 seconds of actual play time. You heard Coach there, he said the ball was on the 50. Why is it now just sitting at the 39? Cornelius Walker now checked into the backfield as Anthony Crothers goes under center. First and 10 has his man and room to run. Big number 48, O'Shea Hamilton, the fullback, makes the reception and picks up 24 yards. Chris Adangupu has to come over and push him out of bounds.
Well, if you want to continue to blitz the linebackers and play one-on-one, we get some crossing routes in here. That's the best thing you want. Guys running sideways. Good recognition by Carruthers. Throws a nice catchable ball that allows O'Shea Hamilton to turn upfield and pick up some extra yardage.
Remember, this drive started at the 3-yard line after the Prairie View A&M fumble. First and 10. Carruthers going to hold on to it. Gets around the corner, has a block right in front.
Oh.
Freshman is popped and fumbles. Moses Ellis comes up and gets the ball after number 11, Raheem Cardwell, the redshirt freshman from Alexandria, Virginia, comes up and absolutely pops Anthony Carruthers.
And you'll see Carruthers, he's trying to set up the blocker on the outside. He changes up his mind and tries to cut inside as if Moses Ellis isn't there, and Ellis puts that shoulder on him.
Oof.
Man, look at that. That's what you want. Ellis got the hit and the recovery.
He got the high-low treatment there. Second turnover for Grambling tonight, plus the block punt. You know what they're going to be working on come Monday? Ball security.
Ball security. Coach Broadway does not play when it comes to protecting the football. And, you know, they say in football, the same things that make you laugh, sometimes they'll make you cry. And there was one where Grambling was laughing when they got the fumble recovery on the 3-yard line. They start marching down the field, and now Grambling's crying. Prairie View's got the ball.
Good to see Carruthers up and walking. I want to remind you to log on to Facebook.com/ESPNU today and become a fan. We want to know which fried food you would most likely eat. And we had, we did our due diligence. We tried just about everything.
So what are you voting for?
You know, that deep fried cheesecake is out of this world.
I knew you were saying that.
I was gonna say I'd like to get a shot at that peaches and cream, but the corn dog you can't go wrong with. First and 10, Prairie View A&M takes over deep in their own territory. Swing out pass, Mr. Babers turning the corner. Nice little run all the way up to about the 23-yard line. David Stuckman makes the stop, 9-yard pickup for the Panthers. And there's your menu. I don't know how you fry up yogurt. PB&J's pretty good without frying it. Cookie dough's pretty good without frying it. But the folks in Texas, you know, they got to do everything big.
Now, when you eat a salad, isn't that supposed to be healthy?
That's what I thought.
So when you come with a fried club salad, you're going for taste.
How about fried lemonade? I'm a little thirsty. Can I get some fried lemonade? Wash it down with some, what was that, fried tequila?
Next, they'll have like fried diet soda.
Fried. On a first and 10, Babers picks up a block, turns the corner. He'll pick up a few yards, call it 4, and Desmond Leonard comes up from the boundary corner and makes the stop. All part of the flavor of the Texas State Fair, which kicked off yesterday. It was tough just getting to the hotel yesterday morning because the parade route went right through downtown.
Yeah, our AD, Jerome, said he was trying to get to his car and saw a camel walk by. That's a little odd.
Went to Dallas and saw a camel walk by. 2017, Grambling State on top with 1:20 to play here in the third quarter after a turnover on a long drive. Prairie View A&M now driving. And KJ Black's going to be sacked from behind. Big number 93, Antonio Leonard, the junior from Jonesboro, Alabama. 4-yard loss for the Panthers.
Good penetration by Antonio Leonard. KJ Black is going to try and step up to avoid the pressure, but doesn't realize with the spin move after he stepped up, Leonard was right there. Good agility by Antonio Leonard, former linebacker here, so showed the quickness there and the balance to do the spin move and then track down the quarterback.
Filling some big shoes in Christian Anthony, who's out with the heart condition. We want to wish him the very best, and hopefully they can resolve that problem. The young man can get to playing football if he wants, but if he doesn't, take his degree, move on, and do something else. But what a loss. But it's a good thing they recognized it early on. Black back to pass, had a receiver wide open, overshot. Sean Stevens already has one spectacular catch on the night, and that one just out of his grasp.
Yeah, they continue to go at that matchup. Sean Stevens against Desmond Leonard. One-on-one covers on the outside. That case there is one where Stevens has to come out the break a little bit sooner. You know, Black was getting hit, but he put enough air on that ball where had Stevens gotten out of his break a little bit quicker, he'd have seen the ball sooner and made the catch.
Final 25 seconds here in the third quarter. Grambling State on top, 2017 State Fair Classic. And that's going to be a catch just shy of the 40-yard line as both receiver and defender are still wrestling. Sean Stevens, the favorite receiver, picks it up for a 15-yard gain. And again, Desmond Leonard, that's about as good a coverage you can get.
Yeah, I mean, he's right there on it, but in a game of football, tie goes to the offense. See Black knowing he's going to get hit. And Stevens did a good job of not giving up on that pass, and both of them had it. Good job of holding on and continuing to wrestle for Sean Stevens.
And it looks like the clock will run down. Third quarter will come to an end here in Dallas, Texas. Grambling State leads 2017, but Prairie View is driving to either try and tie or take the lead. We'll have the fourth quarter when we return to the State Fair Classic after this short break. Back at the Texas State Fair in Dallas, Texas, as we bring you the State Farm game summary. 2017, Grambling State on top. The big story, 5 lead changes. Frank Warren, 124 yards rushing, and Mr. Babers, 32 yards rushing, but he does have a TD, and Prairie View A&M is just, they're starting to run out of bodies. Guys are getting dinged up, nicked up, already a serious injury to Anthony Wilson, the center, as he was taken immediately to the hospital as we enter the fourth quarter of play. And right now, head coach Henry Frazier in his 8th year and the defending SWAC champions find themselves in a 3-point hole. But their defense did a great job of getting that fumble just moments ago, and now they are driving.
Prairie View, number 40.
Devin Brown on the carry. He's able to get about a 2-yard pickup before he slips and falls on the back spin. Stephen McCord, number 31, comes up and makes the stop.
You talk about the bodies, the body counts taking place down on the field. You know, go back to what we said at the beginning of this game. Both coaches said, hey, we're going to attack them on defense. We're going to go after them. And I think that the defenses have really dominated this football game. Some points have been scored on the field, on the scoreboard, but it's been a real physical football contest. And both coaches should be very proud of their defensive units.
2nd down and 8, ball resting at the 42. And that is a case of miscommunication as Michael Benson was going on the fly route and his quarterback KJ Black was looking for the butt hook. And this was a scene in the tunnel. How intense do you think this rivalry is? Had to bring in a state trooper.
I mean, that's before they even had the pads on. You know, they're coming out there just for the early stretch, jawing at each other. They really wanted to get at it. And, you know, when you're playing college football, so often You know, you don't win the game. You don't get to that mindset on game day. It's the buildup. You know, you start on Monday. When you're watching film Tuesday, you start to know who your opponent is. And by Saturday, game day, I mean, you're already built up and fired up and ready to go.
How about the arm strength of K.J. Black and the reception of Brandon Bell? 22-yard pickup, but there is a flag on the play, and all indications are this one's coming back.
Holding. On the offense. Number 40. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay. Third down.
Devin Brown, the guilty party. This can be a 32-yard loss.
Yeah, you take a look on the right side of your screen. The fullback gets out of position. He realizes he's getting beat by Antonio Leonard, so he just does a good old-fashioned takedown. But see the arm strength by K.J. Black to get that ball downfield off of one leg, moving backwards. And Frazier said, "Oh man, you got to be kidding me."
Looked like he had a reaction to bad turkey leg there. He was just not happy about that at all. They deep fry that turkey leg, by the way?
They don't.
One of the few things at the Texas State Fair they do not deep fry.
Third down.
Big third down for Prairie View A&M. Black with all kinds of time. It'll bring out another flag as he falls forward, picks up 2 yards. Kendall Robinson
32, but there's a flag there.
on the sack.
Robinson on the tackle.
And K.J. Black is slow to get up.
Holding. On the offense. Number 75. The penalty will be declined. Fourth down.
Tim Tussey, the junior from Houston, called for the infraction. That'll bring up a fourth down with 13:35 to play here in the ball game, and Prairie View A&M is forced to punt.
And not a good sign when you've got K.J. Black going to the sideline gingerly there. They've got to get him some attention. Slowly but surely, you're starting to see the Grambling Tigers start to force their will on this Prairie View team, starting to beat them up a little bit.
Pedro Ventura, low line driner. Kiari Thompson, spin at the 45, has some blockers, can't get away from the grasp of the defenders. 32-yard punt, a return of 4. James Holloway on the tackle. Well, this is my turn to sit in the hot seat. I think she made me look a little older than I am, but a fantastic job nonetheless.
It's time.
2017, 13:20 to play. Grambling State on top of Prairie View A&M. Ball resting at about the 47-yard line. On 2nd and 8. Frank Warren goes into the line. Now this is when they need one of those long drives, grind out about 4 or 5 minutes, keep the offense on the line. It was Cornelius Walker actually on the carry for a 2-yard pickup.
And I think this is when you're going to start to see, you know, heavy doses of either Walker or Warren running the football. You know, and you can afford to get a little bit more conservative with your play calling here. You got the ball in pretty good position midfield. You know, most defensive coaches like Rob Broadway they tend to think conservative offensive play selection. No point being too risky here. Because even if you have to punt, you can pin him deep, and he'll bet his house on the defensive unit. 3rd
down and 6. Frank Warren back into the game. Freshman is going to be sacked back at the 39. It was big number 90, Quentin Spears, the senior from Montgomery, Texas. That's going to be an 11-yard loss.
And, no, let me tell you a story about Quentin Spears, number 90. You'll see him here. You see he's got that big frame, 6 feet 6 inches tall, kind of lean. Came to Prairie View A&M as a walk-on wide receiver. Walk-on wide receiver. Then they moved him to safety. And then bulked him up, and now he's playing defensive end. And they say, you know, he's a great kid. He's willing to work hard, and he's worked his tail off just to get to that frame.
Spencer Nelson back to receive. What does that say about the cooking at Prairie View A&M? This is a short kick, but it's going to take a Grambling State bounce. Nelson grabs it. Probably should have let that go. He returns it back out to the 25, a 37-yard punt. Well, Tuesday, see ESPNU's latest college football show, The Experts, as Bob Greasy, David Pollack, Tom Luganville, Charles Arbuckle, and Pat Forty provide unfiltered conversation about the hot topics in college football. The Experts on ESPNU, Tuesday at 1 Eastern. And in case you didn't see the live show, you can catch an encore presentation at 7 Eastern. And wow, look at that. The likeness is scary.
Now, you know what surprised me, and when they did the drawings were, I thought, you know, I'm bigger than you. I thought it would have been longer for them to do mine, but they said, no, it's going to take me longer to do yours, Todd, because you've got the hair.
Oh.
See, I'm rocking the fade. You know, you got that excellent hair with one hair, never gets out of place.
Yeah.
So
It's a dead possum. Babers on the carry, stopped about the 25-yard line. Not much of a gain there for Babers, but they're just happy to have Donald Babers back in the game. Number 50, Cliff Exuma.
You know, look
what
at
do
that.
you think?
Look at the hair. I mean, how many strokes does she have to
That's
use
something.
on your hair?
That
She
is
ran out of
something.
ink doing your hair.
How about you, though, rocking the fade? She has that down. I mean, that's
got work
money.
on the goatee, though.
Money. Babers again on the carry, almost a first down. Jamarcus Savage makes the stop while we're having a little bit of fun, and I'll tell you, she is fantastic. She did those pictures in, what do you think, 5 minutes?
5 minutes for me, 7 minutes for you with the hair.
I thought she was going to do just a stick figure, but she came out and brought the goods.
She did. You know, it's something when, you know, when they sit there and look at you and she says, oh, I love your eyebrows. So now I'm limited to my best physical feature being my eyebrows.
All credit going out to Emily Anthony. The ball's put on the ground by Devin Brown, but he's able to hold on to it and bring it back in.
I'll tell you,
This one more time.
Devin Brown's the backup running back. He's not earning himself any playing time by continuing to put the ground on the turf. In this type of football game, that turnover there could have been crucial. You've got to protect the football. One thing if the hole's not there, it's another thing to carry that football loosely and not protect it.
Well, both teams' offense is starting to sputter here in the fourth quarter with 9:52 to play. Kerry Thompson back to receive the punt from Pedro Ventura. Both coaches looking for a spark to somehow put this game away. That's off the right side of his foot, goes out of bounds around the 40, well, about the 44-yard line, and that's where Grambling State will take over, leading by 3 with 9:34 to play here at the State Fair Classic in Dallas.
Welcome to our McDonald's.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, but right now my waistline's not loving that. Calories galore at the Texas State Fair. That is a deep-fried Pop-Tart. Come and get some. Saturday's headlines, Alabama surviving in Fayetteville. Mark Ingram with 157 yards, and Denard Robertson suffering a knee injury, left the game in Michigan, did not return. They did not need his services. And the big story, especially in this state, UCLA traveling to Austin.
Fight.
Forcing 5 turnovers as the Bruins come away for a big victory, not only for their program, but the Pac-10.
I'm sure Charles Arbuckle's smiling.
Oh, the Bucks.
You know, and he's from Texas, too.
Yeah, we'd be hearing about that all night long over some deep-fried butter, Buck's favorite dessert. As Grambling takes over, ball resting at about the 47-yard line on a 1st and 10.
That's back-to-back wins over the state of Texas for the Bruins. They knocked out Houston and Case Keenum's Heisman hopes last week, and this week come back and get the big team.
Reverse is on. Plenty of room to run. One man to beat. And a well-designed play, a 17-yard pickup for Grambling. They bring in Mario Louis, and he comes in, first touch of the game, and turns out a nice performance. Moses Ellis has to come over and make the stop.
Yeah, just speed to the outside. You see him once he gets on the edge. He's got the speed to outrun the safety, Eric Moore, there to turn it upfield.
So the junior comes in and makes an immediate impact. 1st and 10, ball right at the 35. Warren with the carry, hole off the left-hand side. First man can't bring him down. He takes it down to about the 28-yard line. Eric Moore finally makes the stop, 7-yard pickup.
Normally you would think it's just poor tackling by the defense, but this is one of the better defenses in the SWAC conference, if not the best defense, one of the top 2. And, you know, anytime you can make those guys arm tackle you and miss, I'm giving credit to the running back. He's doing a good job of being elusive and keeps it going.
Well, he's averaging 165 yards a game, second most in FCS action. And tonight, he's got it going. He's one of those backs, Jay, it strikes me as the longer the game goes on, the stronger he gets and the better runner he becomes. 2nd and 3. Give it to Warren. He'll pick up a first down, keep the clock running. Gets it down to the 23. They'll reset. 5-yard pickup. Chris Adangupu makes the stop.
You know, got to be pleased if you're Coach Rob Broadway there, seeing your offensive line just dominate this defensive front four for Prairie View A&M. I mean, that was 3rd and 3 yards to go, and they just gouged them up the middle.
What kind of pressure is Rod Broadway under? I mean, he's at Grambling. There's been some great coaches at Grambling. I mean, I'd go back to Eddie Robinson. They're just used to winning there. They're spoiled there. He comes in, and I think they just expect, what do you mean we're not getting 10, 11 wins this year? Yeah,
I think, you know, he had to bring back some stability there. They had slipped for a little while prior to him getting there, you know, and they went through a transition. You know, they had the Eddie Robinson phase, and then, you know, it didn't hurt when the coach that replaces Eddie Robinson is Doug Williams, and Doug goes on and has like a 78% winning percentage and was getting it done. And for him, I think, you know, I remember it was his first year, it might have been his second year, and they had won a conference championship, and they lost the Bayou Classic, and the fans were so upset with him. And it took some gelling. He had to tell the fans, the Bayou Classic is great, yes, but I'm very pleased that we won a SWAC championship. Don't tell us we had a bad season because we lost the Bayou Classic. And they went on, they won the SWAC championship. And he's matured now, and you know, last time I talked to him about that, we laugh about, he says, hey, you know what, I'm kind of like these fans now. You know, I got to keep winning that Bayou Classic. You know, that's an integral part of this program and the tradition. It's a national stage when everybody sees it. So he's come to accept it. You know, there was some speculation whether or not he was going to leave the program 2 or 3 years ago. And, you know, he said the program here at Grambling's been good to me and my family and my coaching staff in particular. So he decided to stay. And I think the Tigers are happy, and they've got a good coach.
Well, that Tiger's happy right now. He's up in the stand taking photos with the ladies. Injured player on the field right now is number 24, Breon Johnson, the redshirt freshman from Beaumont, Texas, and he is up and walking. Well, the Cotton Bowl hosting some very big games, and next week it's the biggest Red River rivalry, Oklahoma, Texas. You'll see that on ABC, 3:30 Eastern next weekend. It began in 1900. Texas leads 59-40, 5 ties. Played the Cotton Bowl since 32. Since 45, one or both teams has been ranked, and Texas coming off a loss, they are going to absolutely have to have that game. Oklahoma beating Cincinnati late in that game. Back to Frank Warren, and this is the game they have been playing so well. Raheem Cardwell makes a stop, 5-yard pickup for Frank Warren, the senior from Pleasant Grove, Alabama.
You know what I love about that Red River? I think that's probably the only game I've ever seen where when you see the aerial shot, it's like the stadium
divided, dead
in the middle. I mean, burnt orange on one side and then Oklahoma Sooner Red on the other side.
I mean, it's down to the seat on the 50-yard line. I sat there before and I said, do you pay extra to have that seat that's next to the enemy, or do you pay a little less?
The city down here in Dallas, I mean, they're getting ready for it already. We've been here for a couple days now, and
they're already talking about it.
The banners are up in the streets and everybody's excited.
Inside the red zone, 2nd down and 5 for the Tigers. Warren out of the I formation, stacked up at the line, picks up about 2 yards. Most importantly, though, the clock continues to run as number 52, Elton Holmes, sophomore from Bryan, Texas, on the initial tackle.
Did you see the NFL Hall of Fame ceremonies this year? You know, I always listen to the speeches. It's always a memorable line. And I thought Russ Grimm delivered a line that's apropos for right now what's going on. He said when he moved the offensive line from defense, his coach told him the best feeling in the world is going to be when you have the ability to move somebody from point A to point B against their will. And right now, this Grambling offensive line is moving the Prairie View A&M against their will.
3rd and 2. Beautifully designed play, getting Warren out on an island by himself. And the young man from Pleasant Grove, Alabama, is going to be close to a first down. Might be a bit short. Lester Butler comes up and delivers the shot.
That spot looks a little short, but did he step out of bounds before he made this last lunge?
Yes, he did.
Good job by the official being right there.
So the ball's just shy of the 14-yard line, and it's decision time.
That's one where I think
you go for it, you get the touchdown, you might salt the game away.
I think so, and you know, that last play, they got away from what had been working. They decided to get cute and try and attack the perimeter when they've had all their success running straight ahead.
4th and 1. They're going to give it to Warren, and I don't know if he got it. It looked like he got tripped up before he could get the yardage he needed. And the Panthers have held with 5:59 to play in this game. Prairie View A&M trailing by 3.
They tried to pull around there and just no place to go. Bodies slanting, different angles being taken by the defense.
How about big 52 Elton Holmes getting in there and just grabbing the feet of Warren? He doesn't do that. I think he's getting the first down. Look at that. Just grabs his right foot. Jamali Levon also in there. Jamail Levon, excuse me, credited with the stop. So 1st and 10. Ball sitting at the 14-yard line. Prairie View A&M trailing by 3. KJ Black was looking for his receiver, Sean Stevens, to come back and help him. Couldn't get it to him. Antonio Leonard putting the pressure on.
And that goes back to what we talked about in the lesson plan. What do you have to do if you're Grambling? Well, you got to pressure that pocket, force KJ Black to get outside the pocket. You know, he hasn't been as effective when he's been on the run throwing the football compared to his throws from within the pocket. So Grambling continuing to keep the pressure on KJ Black.
Sack at the 10. Exactly what Prairie View A&M did not need as big number 91 Kendall Robinson comes in and makes the stop.
Yeah, 4-man rush, and you get one guy to pressure the quarterback to the left side, then Kendall Robinson there to track him down from the backside. So anytime you get pressure with 4 rushers, advantage to the defense.
4th sack on the night for the Tigers, and that will back up Prairie View A&M. Clock continues to run. Under 5:20 to play now. It's got to be special time now for KJ Black, the senior from Louisville, Kentucky.
They're bringing pressure.
And people got happy feet. Looked like the left tackle might have been the first one that jumped for the Panthers.
Prior to the snap. False start. Number 7 on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay. 3rd down.
My apologies. They give it to James Blanton on the right side, the senior from Lake Jackson, Texas. Called for the infraction. Ball backed up to the 5-yard line. 5:07 to play. Prairie View A&M's offense in the 4th quarter has not looked good, Jay.
No, they've stalled at times. And, you know, passing-wise, I see what they want to do. They want to continue to try to attack the middle of the field. But Graham was just doing a good job of getting to the quarterback, forcing him to move the pocket.
That ball almost picked off as big number 31 went up. Stephen McCord, the sophomore from 8 Mile, Alabama, had it in his hands. As they like to say, there's a reason why you're a defensive back.
Wide receiver that can't catch, huh? But you'll see, you know, they've been trying to get to the middle, but you don't want to throw a ball up the middle with this much loft and trajectory on it. You see, they were right there on the spot. This could have easily been picked off. McCord got a good beat on it. He comes up, goes after it at the highest point, just couldn't bring it in.
Prairie View A&M now in a dangerous situation. They're going to have to punt this away. Pedro Ventura almost on the back of the end zone. Be wise not to step back. Quick snap, quick punt, line drive, and it drives Kiara Thompson all the way back to 40, where he picks it up, and he's immediately tackled at the 40. 54-yard punt as Philip Jefferson comes up and makes the stop. Tigers take over when we come back.
Since
Back in Dallas, Grambling stayed on top 2017 over Prairie View A&M with 4:30 to play. You're watching ESPNU College Football Prime Time, presented by McDonald's. We take a look at the SWAC standings in the West. It's battle for control, and Grambling State in Conference 1-0, looking to push their record to 2-1 overall. Prairie View A&M already with a loss in the SWAC would drop to 1-3.
So the importance for Prairie View here is if, you know, I don't know the last time they've had a champion out of the West Side with 2 conference losses. So they've got a sense of urgency. They pretty much feel they have to win out. So these last 4 minutes are going to be crucial for the rest of their season.
Carruthers has his man. Catch is made. Touchdown, Tigers. And that, my friends, is Kiara Thompson making the first touchdown pass and reception this season for the Grambling Tigers. That is a 59-yard strike, a beautiful ball.
Yeah, bought a little time in the pocket. You knew that Prairie View was going to get very aggressive in play calling. Nobody in the middle of the field. Deep route trying to cover. They took the deep shot, and Kiari Thompson made them pay with the big score.
And that strike sends a lot of folks from Prairie View A&M to the turnstiles here at the Cotton Bowl. As Riazzo tacks on the extra point, it is now Grambling State 27, Prairie View 17. Let's look at this one more time. Kiari Thompson, concentration and then some.
Yeah, that ball hung in the air for a long time, and so often you see the defensive backs get disoriented. Thompson, great job of concentration, seeing it in and taking it to the house.
I want to remind you, you can join host Lowell Galindo with David Pollock and Tom Luganville for BCS Countdown for in-depth analysis of Week 4 and a look ahead to Week number 5, the BCS Countdown, presented by Allstate on ESPNU and ESPNU HD. That's Monday at 6 Eastern. 4:21 to play, and Grambling State has grabbed a 10-point lead. Anthony Carruthers, the young freshman who Jay Walker has dubbed the Little General.
They're getting it done. You see the first half, hey, rough going, but in the second half, when it counted, 145 yards, and, you know, overcompensated for his mistake, his mishap. He had a key fumble when they were driving down in Prairie View territory. Didn't let him rattle him, came out, stayed settled, stayed focused, delivered big time in the fourth quarter.
That look says it all. Head coach Henry Frazier looking on in disgust and saying, what happened, fellas? Michael Benson back to receive, drops the ball, goes back and retrieves it. Finds a little running room. He'll get it out to about the 22-yard line. Tackle made by number 11, Jabari Powell. That's a happy freshman.
Yeah, this is that danger time for Prairie View A&M. I mean, we talked about the fact that, you know, they haven't been able to score more than 2 touchdowns all season long, and this is the team that was going to rely on their offense. You bring back the Offensive Player of the Year in the SWAC conference, and everybody's All-American, the quarterback, and KJ Black, and Babers was there, and they still have not quite figured out how to get it going offensively. And, you know, that's something they're really going to have to work on. They're going to have to look at themselves in the mirror and do a self-evaluation on what is going on with the Prairie View A&M offense.
KJ Black out of the gun, Donald Babers to his left. Man wide open in the middle, nice catch, finds number 2, Sean Stevens, who's made some great catches on the night. Gabriel Fleming on the coverage and the tackle, 16-yard pickup for the Panthers.
And this is when you need a sense of urgency. Go into your 2-minute offense, try and score as quickly as you can, protect the football, but you gotta get things going.
Under 4 minutes to play on the snap. Black with some time, throws his pass backwards. Had Babers out there, but overthrew him. Ball goes incomplete.
You see Broadway, he doesn't stop.
He's saying that ball was thrown backwards. He should have just
got
backed
a point.
up.
Oh, he's got a great point. I definitely think it was thrown backwards. He wants him to take it back further.
By 10, Grambling State. We've had 5 different lead changes on the night. And the Tigers out in front on a 2nd and 10. KJ Black scrambling, looking. Finally dumps it away. Has a man down the side. Number 80, Brandon Bell, the senior from Pompano Beach, Florida, as David Stuckman came up and made the stop. 12-yard pickup for the Panthers.
You know, and all evening long, Gramble's come out in this cover 2. And, you know, offensively, the weakness of that cover 2 is deep down the middle of the field or the deep outside thirds. These linebackers from Grambling have done such a fantastic job of walling off the inside slot receivers, not allowing them to get into the middle. See right now, they're going to come out in some type of cover 2 shell, but they're just walling off all the bodies.
Babers with the reception.
Babers with a beautiful run to the inside, gets it up to about the 37-yard line. Cliff Exum makes the stop, 13-yard pickup.
And I think this is what, you know, Prairie View's figured out and KJ Black's figured out. Well, if you got linebackers dropping that deep, not allowing me to get crossing routes, let me attack underneath and get the ball to Babers in some space, and he can pick up positive yardage.
Grambling State only rushing 3 now. Now they bring a 4th one, and the linebacker drops into coverage. KJ Black had to throw that one away. No one in the territory. Sean Stevens was the intended target. Good news is that'll stop the clock, bringing up a 2nd down and 10. I have to agree with you, Jay. The sense of urgency I don't see from Prairie View and A&M. They aren't really in a hurry-up offense. They seem like they have a whole other quarter.
Man, it's almost as if they've given up a little bit. Take a look at Coach Frazier's conference record last year compared to this year, and already equaled the total for the last 2 years this season, and looking at 2 losses in the face. But the body English, I mean, they have to realize, hey, if you can get into the end zone quickly and get the defense on the field, they can turn it over, and you can be right back in this game and win it.
Grambling State seemingly giving up anything under 10, 12 yards. Brandon Bell picks up 16 that time, and David Stuckman, the junior from Gainesville, Florida, makes the stop.
And this is where you need the sense of urgency. You got the first down, get up there, call your play. You see the clock is stopped. Now, once they set it, they're going to start the clock. When they start the clock, you should have that play called, and the ball should be snapped.
Ready to go.
Within 3 or 4 seconds. Now, look, they started at 3:05, and let's see what the clock is when they actually snap the ball. And it'll probably be somewhere around 2:45. All that wasted clock.
KJ Black still giving signals to his receivers.
15 seconds they wasted.
And he has to throw it away. So the 15 seconds went for naught. I like the idea that they were going for the end zone there. Asti Burtis, number 92, applying the pressure to KJ Black.
Yeah, see, now's the time where you can kind of catch your breath a little bit. The clock is stopped on the incomplete pass, and you want to come out and definitely call one of your best pass plays you've got right now.
Here's a question for you, Professor Jay. Excuse me. If it gets to a 4th down situation and long, do you kick the field goal and take your chances on the onside, getting a touchdown later? I mean, you got to come away with something.
4th and long, yeah, I'd go for the field goal, then maybe go for the onside kick.
Looking for Sean Stevens in the corner, and that scenario may play out here.
Ooh. Wow, he had a crossing man coming right across the formation that would have waltzed into the end zone. You'll see him come across your screen. Guess you'll miss it, but wide open there, and that's a tough throw trying to squeeze it in there.
If he can hold on to it for half second longer, he's got a man wide open going across the middle. 2nd down and 10, 2:38 to play, trailing by 10. Prairie View A&M has the ball. KJ Black, the senior quarterback, ball resting at about the 21-yard line.
Grambling's bringing pressure, safety blitz.
Crossing route, miscommunication. KJ Black had to get rid of the ball, but one receiver was going at the goal line coming left, the other one was going right at the 5, and the ball, fortunately, was deep into the end zone.
Yeah, they're not on the same page, and I think, seeing what's happened the past 2 plays, Coach Frazier saying, hey, let's at least get some points on the board.
So that's going to bring up a 4th down situation. And just as we talked about, 10 yards to go, no sense in going for it. Get your points. 38-yard field goal this will be. Brady Faggard on for the try. And that ball was blocked at the line. And that's going to salt it away.
I don't know if I was correct, but normally for you line up, 7, 8 yards behind from the line of scrimmage. I thought I saw him only 6 yards. I mean, that type of trajectory there. I don't know if we can go back and take a look at the initial snap of the ball, but I was sitting here looking, saying, wow, he's awfully close to the line of scrimmage. How's he going to get that ball up there? I wonder if that was a mistake there, if they misjudged what ball line it was on. Take a look.
Look at that, yeah, where the holder is.
Yeah, where the holder is. He's only 6 yards back. That's normally not enough room to get a kick up in the air.
6, I'm even shorter than that. Steve McCord, though, number 31, with the block. Look at the elevation, this young man.
Yeah, see, that's not supposed to happen.
Stay in bounds, young fella, as he gets across to about the 23-yard line. Frank Warren picks up 2 more yards. Now it's just a matter of grinding out the clock. Prairie View burns one of their 3 timeouts. They now have 2 remaining. But I have to agree with you, Jay. The sense of urgency from Prairie View A&M over the last 5 minutes, it just hasn't. They just haven't been there.
Hasn't been there. Body English. You know, I'm a big guy reading body English. It hasn't been there. I remember I had an offensive coordinator, Ray Perkins, used to always talk to us, and he said, the percentages, sometimes they'll go down, but I'm more concerned about what you're seeing. And I don't think KJ Black was seeing what the Grambling State defense was doing to him. Not on the same page, and the communication and the timing hasn't been there, so they've been disrupted. Just can never get that offensive rhythm going. Now,
Coach Frazier can have a long look at this tape.
Now, that being said, I mean, maybe Graham was just that good. You know, I always say that good defenses tend to make great quarterbacks look very average. And maybe, just maybe, the G-men are back to claim their throne.
Sheridan Broadcasting Network poll, we'll see 1 and 3 next week as South Carolina State travels to Tallahassee to face off with Florida A&M. Another great display of bandmanship will be on hand, and we'll have it for you on ESPNU. Looking forward to that game and a trip to Tallahassee. Once again, it's Frank Warren doing the work. 3-yard pickup. Max Century on the stop for Prairie View.
That matchup next week will be a good one. I mean, if South Carolina State is as good as everybody says they are, they get an opportunity to go prove it going down to Tallahassee. I think the road trip to Florida A&M is probably one of the top 2 or 3 toughest road trips to make in all black college football.
And while you're on the subject of South Carolina football, how about the kids playing for the Gamecocks? Mr. Lattimore, true freshman.
He's a beast.
Oh, my word.
He can tote it. He can tote it. And so weird because, I mean, just think about the coaching job with Steve Spurrier. I mean, this is a guy, fun and gun, likes to throw it all over the place. But now he's had to change his coaching philosophy. He's got a great defense the past 2 years, so you got to let your defense beat up on people. And when you got such a spectacular running back, you got to start running the football. You can't just throw it all over the place.
Got a good one down in Auburn, 21-20. Auburn leading South Carolina. So the head ball coach got a little work to do with the Gamecocks trying to get out of Auburn with a victory. That's a great game, 14-15. Lattimore only 31 yards on the night, but he does have a TD. And we got some more deep fried wild turkey. Nope, it's Carruthers back there. Finds Warren. We had a little deep fried wild turkey formation there. I think that grease is starting to get to my head. Or is that fried tiger? 6-yard pickup. Max Century on the stop again.
And that was a big first down conversion right there for Grambling. So if the game wasn't really sealed before, they're just about wrapping it up.
Well, if you're just joining us, you missed a great one. Great halftime entertainment. 2 of the best bands in the business. Good football being played here at the State Fair Classic. And the food, well, calorically speaking, it has been out of this world. They have fried things here at the Texas State Fair that I didn't know was possible to fry. That they have defied physics and calories, and we have been the beneficiaries of it.
I mean, I don't even want any more French fries for like a week. And I love French fries, but I'm fried out.
Cornelius Walker checks into the game, gives Warren a spell. He'll get the corner and then some. Cornelius Walker at the 30, and he is going to walker on into the end zone. Touchdown, Grambling. '66-yard run for Cornelius Walker, the senior from Atlanta.
Yeah, he's just going trying to secure the ball, and he gets to the edge, and great downfield block there to help spring him there by Van Phillips, and then he just turns on the Jets, and it's a foot race. Give it up to my cousin, Cornelius Walker. I'm just playing. He's not my cousin.
If he'd have fumbled, you wouldn't have been claiming him. It's a touchdown, definitely. Well, Grambling State and Prairie View A&M on the scoreboard, it's going to look like a rout at 34-17, but it was a very close game with 5 minutes, and now the jawing starts as the extracurricular activity. They're all talking about who's going to get the deep fried cheesecake. I'm going to pick up the tab for the corn dog. You said you were. Maybe that's not what they were saying, but frustration's starting to boil over.
That's the key. I mean, sometimes you get so used to winning all your games and being the man that you forget what it's like to lose. Don't take to it too well.
Love you, Mama, Dad. Love you, Mama,
Big
Dad.
number 70 from Prairie View A&M. I don't know who was picking on him. James Blunt at 6'7", 335.
Yeah!
That's where you want to leave the helmet on and just say, it's all right, big fella. I got you.
See him get to the outside. Look at the block right there. Once he got all those white jerseys on the inside, it became just a foot race. See, Walker took a peek, realized he was going to get in there.
Hey, you take it back to sweat. Hey, take it back to sweat. Take it back to sweat.
I do like that. We're taking back the sweat.
Look at that, 14 points unanswered. Make it 17 points unanswered by Grambling. Started off in the third quarter, and they just absolutely imposed their will. Spencer Nelson, Michael Benson back to receive the kickoff. Are they taking back the SWAC, Jay? I got to ask you. I mean, it's early in the season, but boy, they sure look good tonight against a team, Prairie View A&M, who many thought could repeat as SWAC champions.
Yeah, I think you got to say they're in the driver's seat right now. I mean, anytime you basically have ended the season of the defending SWAC champions and you're in the driver's seat, you're still undefeated in conference play. The other teams all have a loss there, so Grambling's in great position right now. One thing you know about a Rod Broadway team, he is not going to let up. I mean, he will will every bit of talent this team has. So if they are good enough to win a SWAC title, you will find out.
Flag already on the play. Spencer Nelson, he is sandwiched out about the 35-yard line. We'll have to find out what the infraction was, but Austin Haynes makes the stop, 24-yard return for the Panthers.
I think one thing we'll say in defense of Prairie View, I mean, we talked about the back-to-back 9-1 season. I mean, it's very rare in FCS football that you see teams continually have 9-win seasons. Sooner or later, it's got to be a rebuilding process. And you just wonder, is this going to be the rebuild year within that program?
Illegal formation on the kicking team. 5-yard re-kick.
Let's take a look at the SWAC standings in the West. Grambling State running their record up. Look, and they were right next to each other, and that's really going to put Prairie View in a hole with a tough schedule still to come on the back half.
Yeah, 2 losses there. You know, on the east side of the division there, I mean, I will tell you this, I think Jackson State's going to be one of those teams to watch. I can see them getting hot. They're playing some good football. Alcorn, surprising them there. Ernest Collins got those guys playing some good football early in the football season, but one thing we did get a chance to mention is everybody's excited down there in Prairie. They got a new on-campus football facility coming. It's going to be state-of-the-art.
But you talk about the state of Texas, and people say, oh, you're going to play at Prairie View. The Longhorns can only take so many kids. And they're probably going to get the pick of the litter. They're going to get the best kids. But, you know, there's Houston, there's Rice, there's A&M. There's a lot of great schools, but there's a lot of great athletes playing high school football. You know, over breakfast today, you cracked out the paper, and the scoreboard, it takes up a whole page of a newspaper just listing
spread
of all the scores. And so I'm telling you, there's a lot of great high school football being played in the state of Texas.
And the way this Prairie View program was built was he couldn't recruit in Texas. He said, I had to go get guys where I could get them from, and that was from Florida and from Maryland. But now, once we started winning, Coach Frazier said, I can go out and recruit kids in Texas, and I'm getting Texas kids to stay home, and this is a Texas-based program now.
Spencer Nelson on a 15-yard carry. James Holloway, number 41, makes the stop for Grambling. So we've come to the final 1:11 to play, and unfortunately for head coach Henry Frazier, this State Fair Classic's not going to go his way. They were in it. I mean, you give them down to about 5 minutes to go. They had the ball driving, only down by 10. They get down to about the 30-yard line, and the offense just stalls, a blocked field goal, and unable to even try the onside kick. Black stays in the game, finds Baber. A flag comes out as Baber is taken down about the 46-yard line. While we have a moment, Jay, we talk about 8-yard pickup. When people talk about who's going to be in there.
On the offense, number 7, 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay.
National championship talk. It's only week 4. You talk about the body of work. Some conference, I just don't like the pre-anointed SEC is the best conference. We don't know that yet. I mean, Tennessee barely got by and got a win today over UAB.
Yeah.
And some of these schools, it's just automatically the Big Ten is going to be great. I don't know how good the Big Ten is. They might be not good at all, and we'll only find out when the team gets into the BCS. And that again is my whole problem with the BCS is you really have no chance of getting there unless you're in a big conference. And the perception of your conference is great because if you stack up a Big Ten conference schedule to someone, let's say in the Mountain West or the WAC, the perception is, oh, there's not even any, there's no chance you put them in the same field.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. And you and I, we talk. I always say, if you're as good as you say you are, go prove it. Go play teams in the non-conference schedule. If you're an SEC school, go take on some good Pac-10 schools. If you're in the Big Ten, go ahead and take on some ACC teams, so to speak. So just don't annoy them. But I think the way it's proven out during the years is pretty much whoever wins the SEC gets a free pass into the championship game.
Clock continues to run. Final 10 seconds of this one. And it looks like after a 5-yard pickup, that will do it for this year's edition of the State Fair Classic. 34-17, the way of the Grambling State Tigers. A great ball game, and unfortunately for Prairie View A&M, they got thin and they just could not get the offense fired up. That fourth quarter really was the difference. And we'll be back with the Lexus HBCU post-game report after this short break. 34-17, Grambling State with the victory.
Sorry I'm late, fellas. Oh, it's cool.
Whoa, what is that? How come my dad wasn't like that?
This is just us then.
Yeah, so some we do.
Who else is in this?
And the celebration continues if you're a Grambling State fan. 34-17 over Prairie View A&M at the State Fair Classic. It's now time for the Lexus HBCU post-game report. Alongside Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harris. Well, when Grambling State needed a dependable runner, they had it in Frank Warren.
Yeah, Frank Warren just kept it going, and the offensive line for Grambling simply dominated the Panther defense. They rushed for over 280 yards. Frank Warren himself had 150 yards rushing to go along with 2 touchdowns, and he got it done in different ways, whether it was running on the perimeter or running tough in between the tackles. Frank Warren was a man amongst boys this evening.
Well, he piled up the stats after last week. He didn't think he could do much better, but he was so dependable. And when the offense seemed to lag just a little bit, who they turned to? Number 23 certainly got the job done. And the freshman quarterback stepping up big time again for Grambling State. Next week, we will be in Tallahassee, South Carolina State. The Bulldogs come to visit the Rattlers. Florida A&M, once again, 2 great bands. You'll see it Saturday, 10:30 Eastern, only on ESPNU. Once again, our final score from the Cotton Bowl. 34-17, Grambling State gets the victory. Coming up next, we'll send you to our SportsCenter U studio. College football fans, you won't want to miss the experts. 6 experts and unfiltered conversation you won't want to miss Tuesday at 1 and 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harris. Now let's send it to Lowell Galindo in the SportsCenter U studio.